San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We had a great time over the weekend. I had a great time over the weekend. It was a fun sports weekend that we're going to dive into as well. As we're excited, we got a lot to get to today on the show. I mean, so much. We knew this was going to happen. Did we not know this was going to happen, Frank, on Friday? What about the Padres? Like, today's the last day of spring training. Where are the trumpets? Where's the celebration? Where's the parade in the streets? They're finally done with spring training today. Finally done. I'm so done talking about things in spring training that don't matter. I am. I'm finally done with it. And you know who else is probably done with it? Sam Levitt's probably tired of being in the desert in Arizona. I bet you Tony Gwynn Jr., Jesse Agler are tired of being in the desert in Arizona when we come back to San Diego.
Probably.
And I know, I don't want to put words in their mouth. That's why I said probably. And I bet you all the players are ready to play some real baseball, especially the guys that just played real baseball in the WBC that had to go back to playing spring training games. Today's always the fun day of spring training. Want to know why? Because today is the day where you see everybody get like an at-bat or two, and then they are hightailing it back to San Diego. You know what? That's what's good about the spring training being close to San Diego. It's like these guys can just drive home. It's like they have to fly to Cincinnati or whatever like that. And thank God the Padres get to start the season at home as well with opening day. That probably makes it even more enjoyable for the players. But so tired of talking about spring training. And as we discussed, as I kind of set that up, on Friday, Frank, you and I both knew when we were making the promo for today that most of the decisions were going to be made this weekend.
Yes.
Most of the decisions that were going to be made happen this weekend when it came to who's making the team, who's not making the team. I mean, at this point in time, and we're going to dive into it, at this point in time, we basically know the roster right now. There's probably a little bit of there's probably a little bit of questions that need to be answered before opening day when we're at Baja Ricks on Thursday. But as of right now, you pretty much know the 2026 Padres are going to be when Alex Miniak announces the entire lineup. You're going to know. You're going to know that Ty France is on the team. You're going to know that Walker Buehler is on the team. You're going to know that a lot of the battles and position battles and pitching battles and everything like that is going to be solidified. And you get to know that a couple of days before. Now, will there be some surprises on opening day? Probably. I would imagine there might be some when it comes to injuries. But as of right now, I think you know what this roster is. I think you know what this team is. And we're going to talk about that for the majority of the show today. We're going to dive into some college basketball and what happened over the weekend. And I'm going to start the show with that in a second. Later on, we'll talk some San Diego FC over the weekend, how they looked against Real Salt Lake. We're going to talk about some other events that happened in town. How about Savannah Bananas were in town, huh? That's kind of fun. I was unable to go. Now, it's very difficult to get tickets to this thing. But for everybody that went out and enjoyed the Savannah Bananas, would love to hear about it. We are going to have a Savannah Banana live in studio in the 1 o'clock hour. Max Young Goldberg is going to join us in the 1 o'clock hour. He's going to talk about what it means to be a Savannah Banana and some of the inside look of what it, what these guys go through to make the team and all that sort of fun stuff. So we're going to have him on at 1 o'clock. He is a USD Torero, played for Brock Ungrich over there at the University of San Diego, played for Rich Hill as well over at the University of San Diego. So from that perspective, we're going to have a little bit of Savannah Bananas talk in the 1 o'clock hour as well. It's going to be mostly Padres, though, today because we have opening day on Thursday. Now, here's where I want to start the show because I gotta get this off my chest. You know, something about, and here's the deal. I didn't get to talk too much about my birthday weekend. I had a great time. I want to thank everybody that took time to send me a direct message, to send me a text, to reach out, people that, you know, got me a gift, which is way unnecessary, Frank. But I want to say a big thank you. You really made, it was really special. I was overwhelmed by the love of everybody that reached out and wished me a happy birthday over the weekend. It was really incredible. So I really appreciate all of you that did that. Thank you very much. Helped me enjoy celebrating 31 laps around the sun. But as I want to start this show, I want to start the show with the fact that something, despite it being my birthday weekend, from a sports standpoint, something this weekend felt off. It wasn't bad. It wasn't boring. But what the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament is supposed to feel like, I didn't really feel this weekend. Because the first 2 rounds of March Madness, they were good. It was solid. They weren't great. And if you've watched this tournament for years, if you've lived it, if you've filled out brackets, if you've lost your mind over buzzer beaters, believed in the impossible, you really know exactly what I'm talking about. Something is missing. And what's missing is the soul of this event. The Cinderella, the underdog, the belief that anybody can win. Because when you look at this year's Sweet 16, it's all power conference teams. Every single one. And that should bother you. It should bother you if you love college basketball. It should bother you if you love what March Madness has always represented, because this tournament wasn't built on chalk. It wasn't built on the biggest brands just rolling through. This tournament was built on chaos. It was built on belief. It was built on moments like George Mason in 2006 making the Final Four. That wasn't supposed to happen. That was magic. That was the kind of story that makes you fall in love with this tournament. And it didn't stop there. You had VCU men's basketball in 2011. You had Wichita State in 2013. You had Loyola Chicago with Sister Jean in 2018. You had Florida Atlantic and San Diego State in 2023.
Florida Gulf Coast also.
Florida Gulf Coast made a little bit of a run. Didn't make that far. But those weren't just upsets. Those were moments. Those were stories that transcended the sport. Those were the reason people who don't even watch college basketball tune in every March. Because they want to believe in something unexpected. They want to believe the little guy has a chance. But right now, that belief is fading. And it's fading pretty quickly. Because over the last 2 years, what have we seen? One true double-digit seed making the Sweet 16. And even that, a power conference team. That's not a Cinderella. That's just a lower-seeded big school. And this year, it's the same thing. Texas is the 11th seed in the Sweet 16. The University of Texas, who's got the biggest athletic budget out of any school in the country. The big reason. They are the main reason why NIL got put in place. It was schools like Texas making all this money, and you're sitting there going like, you can't buy a kid a sandwich? Like, Texas? They're the 11th seed that made it to the Sweet 16? The best upset of the first round was High Point and their ability to beat Wisconsin. But here's the problem. That's not even a true Cinderella story. High Point spends money, and a lot of it. I mean, they're like totally way further than everybody else in their conference in terms of how much money they spend. I mean, their school looks like a country club. I know, I've been there. They spend a lot of money. In fact, in some cases, if you look at how much money High Point is spending, and it's a private school, so you're not going to know the details. I mean, they're spending more than some power conference teams. So what are we even calling an underdog anymore? Because the definition has changed. And that's where this whole thing starts to fall apart because everyone pushed for NIL. Everyone pushed for player empowerment. Everybody pushed for the ability to transfer freely. And listen, I'm not saying those things are wrong in principle. Players deserve opportunities. Players deserve compensation. But in the process, we killed the goose that laid the golden egg. We broke what made college athletics special because now it's not about development. It's not about building something over time. It's not about a group of guys staying together and growing into something bigger. It's all about money. Now it's about rosters being rebuilt every single year. Now it's about who can spend the most. And what happens then? Power schools win every single time because they have the resources. They have the collectives. They have the infrastructure. And if mid-majors find a great player, he's gone. He's not staying to build something. He's not staying to make it run. He's not staying because of the culture of the program. He's transferring. He's getting paid. He's moving up, and we've turned college basketball into free agency every year. The result, no continuity, no identity, no Cinderella. Because you can't have a Cinderella story if the roster disappears every offseason. You can't build a George Mason if your best players get poached the second they show potential. And even the ones who stay, they're not the same type of story anymore because now they're funded. Now they're part of the system. Now they're not shocking anyone. Did anybody see what Coach Cal said over the weekend? I thought Coach John Calipari said it best about this weekend. He said this in his post game. He gave High Point a lot of credit. Obviously, they went down to the wire with Arkansas. And he had this quote, and this is 100% believable. And you got to think about this if you're a college athletics fan about your own school. Administrations win championships, coaches win games. That's it. That's the entire era we're in. If your administration isn't all in on NIL, guess what's not going to happen? You ain't never winning. It's that simple. And what does that mean long term? It means the gap gets wider. It means the Big Ten and the SEC continue to dominate. It means they're going to outspend everyone else. It means they're going to stockpile talent. And eventually, we're going to look up and realize this tournament isn't what it used to be. Because it's already trending that way. And here's the part that really hits. What we're losing isn't just upsets. We're losing that connection. We're losing the feeling that college sports are about something more than just money and movement. There used to be something special about watching a player at your school. Knowing he chose that school. Knowing he stayed there. Knowing he represented something bigger than himself. You felt connected to that. You felt like, I went there. I know what he's going through. That's my school. That sense of community. It's fading. Because now players are here one year and gone the next. And not for better opportunities, but for more money. Programs are being forced completely to change their identity. We talked about it with Kansas Jayhawks broadcaster and Brian Hanning. I mean, look at a place like Kansas. What does it even mean now to be a Kansas basketball player, to be a Jayhawk, to play for Bill Self? That used to mean something. Now it's just another stop. And that's not what college sports were built on. We've lost the plot. And honestly, we lost it a lot of years ago. And I don't know if we could get it back because the genie's out of the bottle. NIL isn't going away. The transfer portal isn't going away. The money isn't going away. So unless there are real rules put in place, structure, limitations, something to create balance, this is only going to get worse. And that's what makes this hard because I still love this tournament. I still watch every game. I still fill out the brackets. I still care about March Madness. But for the second straight year, it didn't feel the same. It didn't have the same juice. And that scares me about this tournament. Because if the magic of March Madness fades, if the Cinderella disappears, if the tournament just becomes a showcase for the same power programs every year, then eventually people stop caring the same way. And that would be a shame. Because this event has been one of the greatest things in sports for decades. But right now, it's trending in the wrong direction. And as someone who loves it, yeah, that brings a tear to my eye. because of what this tournament used to mean, what the excitement is I have for this tournament. And it's sad that we are trending in a direction where it's going to look like just everybody in the Power Four playing against each other in one giant tournament. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I'm just, the fact that 2 years in a row, we have had all Power Four schools in the Sweet 16, and it's never been done before, I think is a trend, Frank, in the very much wrong direction of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more in the noon hour. Not just that topic, but also the last couple of days of the tournament. But yeah, it's the tournament every year is built on who is going to be the team that makes that run, who is going to be the team that is going to go against all odds and make the Sweet 16, God willing, make the Elite Eight. And you haven't had that this year. I mean, and you can't even, and it's not about upsets. Like, yeah, it's cool that Iowa upset Florida. That was a 9 seed in a big conference. That's not a small school. That's not a mid-major going out and beating one of these Titans to make it into the Sweet 16. So yeah, it is. It's not just about the number. It's not just about the seed number. It's about the school. It's about the mid-major. And it's all of them were gone pretty much instantly. And those that weren't gone instantly put up a magical fight, which is why everyone got so hyped over the High Point win, only to get dispatched in the very next round. Now, granted, High Point did put up a fight over this past weekend, but it wasn't, it unfortunately wasn't enough.
No, and the thing is as much as it's like, I mean, the Cinderellas are not supposed to win the whole thing. It's fun when they make it through, but I think it's a lot about that connection to the team, right? Like I love TCU because I went to school there and like everything about the school is great. I mean, that's why I root for TCU. But the reality is, I mean, even at TCU, now a lot of those players do stay because they do love the school, but a lot of people root for their schools, right? Because that's where they went, and they have that connection to the player. I mean, you look at Augie in the YouTube chat mentioned how it's like the Michigan celebration in going to the Sweet 16 said it all. Almost none of the players knew the words to their fight song or their alma mater, and most were just clapping and mumbling because it doesn't mean anything to them. They don't care. They're just it's a bunch of hired guns every single year, and eventually people are going to be like, "Why are we watching this? What connection do I have?" It just turns into a glorified G League with a bunch of logos that you have somewhat connection to. You don't have a connection to the players. You have a connection to the logos. When you had connections to the players, that's what made this tournament special. So again, I still thought a lot of the games were entertaining this weekend, but the new era was just like, the new era of college sports is corporate, and it's not as fun to watch. It's just not. And maybe I'm in the minority of this. Maybe people love this new level of college athletics. I don't. I think it sucks. I don't want more pro sports. I have my pro sports. I like the pro sports I have. I understand what those pro sports are. And I root for the teams that are in my town because they represent my city. I root for the college teams because, they represent something for me, whether it be my school or my family's schools. That's why I root for said colleges. But in this day, I don't need that to be professional. Sometimes you just don't know what you got until it's gone. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to talk about college basketball later in the show, but this is a big Padres show today because we got a lot of information coming out of Peoria. It's the final game of spring training today. We got opening day later on Thursday. We're diving into all the big topics for the Padres, starting with, well, we know that Ty France is on the team. What does this mean? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Saturday Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are diving into Padres talk from now until probably, 1 o'clock? Probably. We talked a little bit. We opened the show with the NCAA tournament. I give you my take about the tournament losing its luster. It's not the same it used to be. It's just not. And to go back to that, I mean, there was a lot of coaches in the press conferences that mentioned a lot of stuff about it. But, Robbie Chapin, in the YouTube chat he brought up Mick Cronin post-game yesterday after they lost to UConn. I was talking to Frank about this because I saw that clip. Mick Cronin, the UCLA head basketball coach. We know Mick, right? Right, Frank?
Are you raising your voice at me?
Yeah, that guy. So they asked Mick, we could honestly make this a drop too, Frank, because I would love to have $5 million. But one of the reporters asked Mick Cronin about what he would change for next year for UCLA to get deeper into the tournament, basically. And he gave an answer of like, dude, I'm still focused on tonight, like what went wrong tonight and all that other stuff, yada, 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 yada. And then he pauses. And then somebody drops like a metal pole in the background, which is also hilarious. Like the drop of somebody knocked something over in the background and it made this large rattle noise, which is just the funniest thing. And then Mick is like sitting there for a second. And as another reporter is about to start asking another question, he goes back to the reporter that asked him the question about, like, what would you do differently? And he goes, about $5 million. He just says that. And then he goes, that is to answer your question. About $5 million. That's everything you need to know about college athletics right now. What would you do to change for next season? And he says, I need $5 more million. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Money is just the end-all, be-all in college athletics right now. Crazy. 833-288-973. 833-288-973. All right, let's talk about Ty France for a second. So, over the weekend, what's the meme where the cat is just like smashing the keyboard, just going ham? That was every writer for the San Diego Union Tribune this weekend. I mean, this weekend, as I got college basketball going on, doing a bunch of stuff, as every time I go on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, there's a new article from the San Diego Union Tribune. Kevin Acee, Jeff Sanders. I mean, just littering with just more and more news. All the reporters for the Padres just cranking out news articles because of all of the moving parts that we expected to happen this weekend. Because there was deadlines. Ty France had an opportunity to opt out of his contract if he was not guaranteed a roster spot on Saturday. And so with that, the Padres had to make a decision on Ty France before the end of camp, and they are officially bringing back Ty France, which isn't just a feel-good reunion. I mean, this is a calculated roster decision driven by performance, value, and need. Now, France originally drafted by the Padres in 2015, debuted in 2019, returns after, a very crazy journey that included being an all-star in 2022, stops with the Mariners, Reds, Twins, and Blue Jays. He was a Gold Glover at first base last year. And after signing a minor league deal, he forced the Padres' hand with the strong spring. He hit .318, extra base production, consistent contact, and most importantly, he had leverage. With this 6 years of service time, Ty France could have opted out and walked, meaning the Padres had to make a decision, and they chose to keep Ty France. His roster spot is temporarily tied to Sungmoon Song, who is landing on the injured list with an oblique. But that only delays a bigger roster crunch that's going to be coming later. So he's guaranteed $1.35 million this season. If they decide to cut Ty France, they still have to pay him the $1.35 million. I think he earned the spot on the team, but I think the roster crunch is the big reason why he made said team. I look at this as Sungmoon Song being injured in camp led to an easier decision to bring back Ty France and be on this team. And the other thing that we talked about, Frank, on Friday was Ty France needed to have a decision made on him on Saturday. Jose Miranda has until June. So the Padres, I think, easily were like, okay, let's keep France now because he's got to be gone if we don't keep him. And then Jose Miranda is right there waiting, and we have a little bit more opportunity. I think all the moves this weekend, Frank, have been moves that are the Padres just kind of kicking the decisions down the road, and they have that luxury right now because of injuries.
Yes, they do. And they're also the decisions that we kind of expected to be the case. We had a feeling that Walker Buehler, after we more or less found out that Joe Musgrove was going to be starting the year on the IL, we knew that Walker Buehler was more or less on the team. They made that official on Sunday. Ty France, they made it official on Saturday with how good a spring he has had, that he was going to be making the team. I wasn't surprised by any of the decisions that came out over the course of the weekend, to be honest. These were all what we expected. And I was a little bit surprised that it came out as early as it did, if anything.
I am, because the Padres have usually kept a lot under wraps, but they couldn't not have this come out because they needed to make a decision on him. They had a deadline, and obviously if he's still in camp and he hasn't elected to leave yet, it's going to be like, all right, well, I guess they kept him. So I like it. I think Ty France earned his way on this team too. I think it made it easier for the Padres with Song being hurt, but because I think it was going to be a tough decision. We talked about this at the beginning of camp, right? You knew that Campusano was going to make the team because you needed a backup catcher. And you really didn't have much competition with Campusano as the backup catcher. So he was going to be on the team. We're just talking bench pieces. And then you had the one of the three guys that wasn't playing at first base and DH, which is Miguel Andujar, Gavin Sheets, and Nick Castellanos. So whoever did not start that day, two of those guys are starting, one's not, was the other bench piece. Then you had Sungmoon Song before he got hurt, and then it was, who's making this team? Is it Bryce Johnson? Is it Ty France? Is it Jose Miranda? Do you send Song down? Those were difficult decisions, but now with Song being hurt, it led to Ty France making this team. And then the other move, which we're going to talk about in a second, it sounds like Bryce Johnson is definitely on this team too, because Bowen was the other outfielder that was really pushing for Bryce Johnson's job. He got sent to minor league camp over the weekend as well. So your bench is really solidified, but here's the deal. All of these moves and the other moves we're going to make that we're going to talk about here in the next segment about the pitching staff, all of these moves, Frank, they still have to earn their spot on the team. This is an extended tryout.
Yes, because especially in the case of guys like Walker Buehler, is you have Griffin Canning, who is going to be making this team, who's going to be playing major league games this year. He's coming back from injury. You have Joe Musgrove, who's a cornerstone of this team. He is going to be coming back. So he does still have a fight on his hands for sure. And you could also say the same thing, yes, for Ty France. I wouldn't be surprised if they left Sungmoon Song down in the minors for a little bit after he came off the IL to give him that little bit of extended spring training time. But yeah, it's especially for Walker Buehler. He's not out of the woods yet. He accomplished the goal of making the team. Now he's got to find a way to stay.
And I think that's for everybody that has made this team, because decisions are going to be looming in the near future. We're going to talk about that when we come back. And we're also going to talk about this rotation that the Padres have going into the regular season. That's coming up next on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Room Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 10:39 on a Monday. Talking Padres baseball. We talked about some of the NCAA tournament. We'll talk more about that later on in the show, but it's going to be mostly a Padres day today. We got so much news from over the weekend that it's going to be a lot of, it's the Padres flagship station. We're going to talk Padres baseball all day long. Get you excited for opening day on Thursday. Should be a fun time down there. We're going to be down at Baja Rick's on Thursday. We're going to be there from 10 to 12. Morning show will be there to kick things off in the morning early, but it's a little bit easier to do that down there when opening day is at like 1 o'clock and not like 3 o'clock, right? It's way easier. I mean, the last time we were there, what time was the game? There was a October game or a September game. October. It was a late year because we didn't have any.
Yeah, it was the last home game of the year.
What time did that game start? 6:40.
No, I thought that was the
last home game of the year.
Oh yeah, we did do a.
That was not an afternoon game, I don't think.
No,
because Gwen and Chris was on after.
Yeah,
us.
no, it was the last Friday. We did do a full show from down there.
Right. Yeah.
And we were the first one. Ben and Woods weren't there either.
Yeah, because it was so far away from game time. But now it's like it's a little bit different. We get a little bit of the hype opening day with the game being at 1:10. I don't know if do you like. I should have asked. I gotta ask. I was gonna ask my color analyst for USD baseball, Mike Gosling, who played in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. whether he preferred opening day in the daytime or like opening night, whatever it may be. I have a feeling that a lot of guys probably prefer opening day to be a day game.
Never really thought about it. Most of the time, it's always been a day game for what I've seen.
The Padres have had some late afternoon ones.
They've
had some night games too. I think since I've started working at the Fan, we've had a lot of different times for the opening day. I remember, one of them, I remember we were doing a show at Happy Does, and it was raining that day. And so they pushed the game, and the game was supposed to be at like 1 o'clock or something like that. And they ended up pushing it back to like 3 or 4.
Yeah, which is
actually like really cool. I mean, a 5 o'clock opening day start's kind of nice.
Usually why there's the day off too, is to protect afterwards. To protect the next day. Usually
don't have to do that out here in San Diego. We usually don't have rain.
Also why you have a 4-game series usually to open up the season.
Yeah, but somebody's got to play an interleague game. And when you play the interleague games, you can't do like the 4 unless it's like the whatever. I remember it was cold that morning too. But I think it's been usually late afternoon. I think, was it last year like 3 o'clock, something like that, or was it 1 o'clock last year?
I think it was 1, because I wasn't on the show yet. I was here.
No, and I don't remember. I felt like I didn't do a full 4 hours, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't think you did, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I guess we can look it up.
We could do
opening day, Padres, 2025. I'm sure there's like a box score on there, right? Somewhere.
You would think, no?
Yeah, I'd have to go find the box score and see what time of the game started.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't remember if it was like 3 o'clock or not like that. Well, because Juan in the YouTube chat said the last 2 seasons have been at 3. I know some of these have been at 3 o'clock. I definitely know that. But here's the deal. The Padres were the last team, like we're talking about the news, right, that has come out. Padres have finally announced an opening day starter. Hey! Well, at least.
Better late than never.
You know what? They have, because the Padres actually tweeted it out. So they're the last team to announce an opening day starter. I don't think it's very shocking to a lot of people who the opening day starter is, but it's Nick Pivetta. Anybody surprised by that?
Nope.
Okay. So Nick Pivetta gets announced as the opening day starter, which, by the way, congratulations, Nick Pivetta. I know this is a big day for a lot of especially pitchers, right? It's a big day to be the opening day starter. Congratulations to Nick Pivetta. I think he earned this last year.
Yes, absolutely.
Not to say he's not the best. I mean, right now, he is the number 1 starter on this team. It's like him, King, and Vasquez are the top 3. And based on what he did last year, and even in camp a little bit, I know he struggled a little bit. Nick Pivetta is your best option to start game 1 against Tarek Skubal. So it'll be an interesting matchup between Nick Pivetta and Tarek Skubal on Thursday. But that was kind of we were kind of expecting that. So
yeah, we even said it at the beginning of the offseason that it was going to be either Pivetta or King. It was going to be one of the two. And Pivetta, without an injury last year, kind of led you to lean more to him. But I would not have been surprised if it was either one. By the way, 110 start last year.
Yeah. 110 start. Come on, Juan. Well, fact checked us on that. Interesting that Fernando hit leadoff yesterday. Is that interesting to you?
No.
Tatis Merrill Machado?
No,
it's not crazy to me. Last night today he's hitting third. They're going Cronenworth, Machado, Tatis.
I remember it was a 110 start actually, because I did your show. I think I did Ben and Woods, I think I did Ben and Woods, and I did your show, and then I had a conniption trying to find a place to park on my way down here. I ended up parking under the convention center after getting told by 5 different traffic cops where to go, and all of them told me to go somewhere else. The next person told me to go somewhere else.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah,
that is pretty standard, I have to say.
I was out of my mind.
I believe it. Okay. This is what we talked about going to break, is a lot of the decisions have been made about this roster. All of them are checking off the boxes that we mentioned. Was that Friday that we mentioned this? We basically just gave we think these guys are making the team.
Yes.
Check. And that's not to say that we're smarter than anybody else, because it was not very surprising moves at this point. You saw the writing on the wall. So we talked about Ty France making the team. I think that was definitely going to happen. I thought he was battling to almost force Sung-Moon Song on a minor league team to get the season started. With the injury, he's going to have to work his way back anyway. Ty France gives himself an extended tryout in the first couple of weeks of the season, depending like when Sung-Moon Song's back. You mentioned this going to break, and we had to get to break, so I didn't have not a rebuttal, but like a follow-up, is that decision that needs to be made when Sung-Moon Song comes back, right? Because somebody has to get off. That's a decision you're going to have to make. That decision's going to make itself, because of you're going to have at that point probably a month of data of who's doing well and who's not. And whoever is not doing well in terms of numbers and playing and performance, they're gone. It'll be an easy decision. Now, if all of the players on the Padres on the bench, that you can, like if Bryce Johnson has a great first month and Ty France has a great first month, and you're not having any issues with Nick Castellanos and Miguel Andujar and all those players, right? And they're making a little bit more money than some of these guys. Then I think Sung-Moon Song is going to be the odd man out, and he's going to have to start in the minor leagues.
Yeah,
that's where I think it's going to be the case. But if France has a bad start to the season, if Johnson has a bad start to the season, if I would even say Nick Castellanos, he might have a little bit more leash than others. But if any of those guys have a tough start to the season, Sung-Moon Song is just going to replace them, and that will be it. If they're all having good years, they're going to spend a little bit more time to bring Sung-Moon Song up to speed.
Yeah, and it's also it's not only Sung-Moon Song either. It's Jose Miranda as well, because Miranda does have that time limit on him. Now he can very much choose to opt out of that come June, and then he'll be a free agent again, hoping to find a spot on the major league roster. Or he could opt in and just stay down in the Padres system for longer. So you have a player, you have a player at least for 2 months. You don't know whether or not you're going to have him for longer than that. So let's say Ty France does start to fall back a little bit. I don't think Sung-Moon Song is going to be the first choice to come up. I think it might be Jose Miranda, to see, especially if he's doing well in El Paso. I think Miranda is going to be the one. I think Sung-Moon Song is behind Miranda in that case.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how good. I think Miranda's on an extended trial in El Paso. Because at any point in time, if these players do not play well, I heard Ben talking about it on the morning show. At any point in time, if any of these guys do not play well, they're getting cut. They're getting released. They're getting DFA'd, whatever it may be. It's not, God, we got to hope this guy can play up to speed. The Padres have enough options now in terms of depth. They can replace these guys. And the thing is if they don't play well, they're not going to magically get picked up maybe as easily as you would think, because the real results are going to be in the regular season, right? Like the regular season results are going to matter a lot more than the spring training kind of guesses, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that's how I see the bench being played out. Now, we'll probably have time to talk about the first half of this now, as we have a couple of minutes for the top of the hour, and then the second half of this in the next hour. But the Padres, according to the report from Kevin Acee this weekend, again, we won't know officially until anything at the when it comes to opening day on the roster. But according to reports, the Padres are officially handing a rotation spot to Walker Buehler. And this move is way bigger than just obviously filling innings. Buehler turned down guaranteed major league offers this season to sign a minor league deal with the Padres, betting that he can earn a rotation spot, betting that the Padres can compete for a title, and betting that he could rebuild his value. And that gamble just paid off in spring training. Now, he's in the opening day rotation. He's guaranteed to make $1.5 million, which could be up to $2.5 million with incentives. He's expected to be a key piece early, especially with Joe Musgrove's sideline. But the reality is, we've talked about this. This is not the same Walker Buehler you saw in 2022, in the pre-2022 era of his prime years, where he had ace-level dominance. This is his post-surgery version of himself, where he no longer sits at 97, 98. It's a little bit low velo. It's more of a pitch mix. But I will say this. He is also a guy that is on an extended tryout, because decisions need to be made when Griffin Canning comes back. And then, which I think is going to be a little bit longer of a time, obviously, because you got to build Joe Musgrove back up even if he's good enough to go to start pitching again tomorrow, it's still going to take about a month to get back to Major League Baseball and be ready for Major League Baseball games. That's another decision that has to be made. Walker Buehler making this team, German Marquez making this team, they're on an extended tryout.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely. And it's whoever performs now is going to be the one that stays when Griffin Canning comes back, and then it's a fight. So Walker Buehler right now he's not fighting everyone else in the rotation. He's fighting one guy right now. He's fighting German Marquez, and the same thing for German. He's fighting Walker Buehler. Whoever does better out of those two will most likely stay when Griffin Canning comes back, and then when Musgrove is ready to go, that's when you find out whether or not Buehler or Marquez was really good enough to stay on this team. So it's very much that extended tryout portion, as you said.
But I also think, like, Walker Buehler pitched well enough in the spring to earn the spot. He's not just they're not just giving it to him because they have nothing else. He earned his spot on this team. And
he's pitched a lot over the last 2 weeks. Because remember, he didn't pitch the first 2 weeks of games. He's pitched 4 or 5 times in the last 2.5 weeks.
Right.
So he is really amped up. He's pitched a lot in a very short amount of time, and he has done very, very well. Last night was his first loss of the spring, if you want to count such a thing.
And here's the deal. If he doesn't pitch well, he'll get replaced. You're going to have to pay him the $1.5 million, whatever it is. You're not going to have to pay him the 2.5 because he's not going to hit the incentives. And it's not going to be, we're going to wait for Walker Buehler to turn it around for 3 months. You got a month. Mm-hmm. And if you don't perform, you're gone because we got another guy ready to go, and they're going to just keep swapping guys out. And there's not a lot of risk involved. Now, if he doesn't work out and Canning doesn't work out, and now you're starting to go to the barrel. One of these guys has to hit for the Padres, and that's the risk that's at play. But as of right now, how I see it, with the injury of Joe Musgrove, and again, you just need Joe Musgrove ready for the end of the season, they need one of Buehler, Canning, Marquez to hit. If they all fail, the Padres are in trouble. But if one of them hits, you're set because you have the rotation in place. Now, this is assuming, though, Frank, you don't have any injuries to the top 3 guys, mm-hmm. and you don't have any issues with the top 3 guys. Because if King has a bad season, if Pivetta comes back down to earth after last year, if Vasquez, who I thought had a very impressive spring, if he has a setback, yeah, you are holding this thing in this rotation with Scotch tape.
Yeah.
And there's going to be too many holes to fix at the trade deadline for it to work out. But that's the risk value with this rotation. None of it's guaranteed. It's not like, all right, cool, we got Skeens as the number 1 and Scoobles 2 and Framber Valdez is 3 and everything's going to be great. No, they got a lot of risk that's involved. But I like the competition so far has benefited the Padres, and you're going to extend that into the first month of the year. And it's going to be a decision later on. We'll talk more about the rotation when we come back. All guests on 97 through the Fan. Join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. It's a fun week this week, Frank. It's a fun week this week.
Yes, it is.
We got baseball back. We got Padres baseball back. And not only that, we got baseball back earlier this week. Baseball is back. Opening night is live on Netflix this Wednesday, March 25th, as Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. MLB opening night, Yankees, Giants, live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Should be a fun time. Yeah, I do the bit, but it's kind of a paid. You can't jack up the read like that. They might get mad at us. I don't need Netflix giving us a phone call, Frank. So, who is the guy? Since now we're out of read time.
Yeah, who was that Yankee guy?
Marcin Fudge.
There you go.
Yeah, the guy that can't hit in a big game for Team USA. I can understand where Yankees fans are.
No. You just put the stop on can't hit in a big game. Period. You just stop there. You don't need to add another qualifier.
No, you don't. We're giving away tickets today, correct?
We are giving away tickets today.
In the 1 o'clock hour, we'll be giving away tickets to Tony Gwynn opening day, if you will, which would be Friday's game, March 27th, to see the Padres take on the Tigers. You can get your tickets at padres.com/tickets. 1 o'clock hour, we will be throwing out a trivia question to get your tickets. Is Friday Friday's the day that they have the opening series scarf, by the way.
There you go.
What's the temperature going to be like? The Padres play this out perfectly in a sense of it's
hottest day of the year.
The first couple months of the season at Petco are chilly. They are. The first month, like March, April, when we sit in the press box, I got to bring a jacket. It's usually chilly. This Friday, high of 83. They didn't know. Kind of record highs. Are you a little bit more susceptible to it? 80, 81, 83, 82, 83, 84. A lot of 80s this week, Frank. You be okay?
Looking forward to Monday.
Don't burn your casings on Thursday out at Baja Rick's. They might serve it with some lobster.
I'm looking forward to next week right around this time.
Why? Because it's going to be a high of 70 something?
71, 73, 68, 69, 70. Love it.
So you're going to the Padres Giants series is what I take out of that.
Oh, God, yeah.
Let's talk about the rotation a little bit more with Walker Buehler making the team. So we kind of began our conversation about Walker Buehler making this team in the last segment, but we want to take a little bit deeper dive into this. Padres are officially handing a rotation spot to Walker Buehler. That's not crazy information. That's not shocking information. That's not surprising information. That's information that we kind of knew about a week and a half ago. It seemed like Walker Buehler pitched well enough to make this team. The interesting part of this is some of the extra reporting done by Kevin Acee about the fact that Buehler turned down guaranteed major league offers this offseason to sign a minor league deal with the Padres, which tells you a couple of things. One, he bet that he was betting on himself that he could make a rotation spot. Two, he was betting on himself that betting on the Padres were going to be competitive. I think that's another thing. Walker Buehler could have signed a deal to go pitch for the Marlins. Does that sound like fun? Is it better to try to bet on yourself with a team that's going to be competitive than try to pull it like a Dustin May and go play for the Cardinals who aren't going to be very good and hope you get traded at the deadline?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different. But he bet he can earn a rotation spot. He bet the Padres can compete for a title, and he gambled that he can rebuild his value. And the gamble is just starting to pay off. Opening day rotation, guaranteed $1.5 million, up to $2.5 million in incentives. He's expected to be a key piece early, especially with Joe Musgrove being sidelined to start the year. Now, we talked about this. He has now reinvented himself under Ruben Niebla because he was a 2.75 ERA guy, ace-level dominance, velocity sitting at 97, 98. Now he is a pitch mix guy. He adjusted his arm angle this spring. He has changed his pitch mix where he has more off-speed usage. He brought back his sweeper, which he used to have, and he has focused on command and sequencing over velocity, which this is the Padres pitching lab in action. San Diego isn't just signing pitchers. They're actually rebuilding a lot of these guys And in rebuilding Walker Buehler and what Ruben Abel has done, he has given Walker Buehler an opportunity to earn a job, and he has earned that job because he has had a strong finish to the spring, clear improvement in the last 2 outings. He beat out multiple rotation candidates, and the Padres didn't hand him this. He forced their decision. He earned the spot on the team regardless of what the injuries might be, Frank.
Yeah, for sure. And now you've got to really hope at this point that he is now bought in and locked into the fact that he is a thinking man's pitcher. He's a brain pitcher, not a brawn pitcher now. So he's got to really be able to mix up his stuff. He's got to be able to figure out somewhat quickly if he doesn't have a pitch, either one, how to get it back, or two, how he can work around it and possibly try to find a way when the opposing hitter's not expecting it to try to mix that pitch in to see if he can find the grip again or find the break on it again the way he had it previously. So it's going to be a complete career. This is a career making or breaking moment for him. If he can find a way to become that brain pitcher, that thinking man's pitcher, and find a way to, one, stick with it and have success with it too, that will determine whether or not Walker Buehler is going to be in the major leagues for a long time still left.
And the Padres are counting on him this year. And they're counting on him a lot, especially in the first couple of months, because Joe Musgrove's out. We don't have a timetable on when he's going to return in a Padres uniform, making a start for San Diego. Griffin Canning's not going to be ready until May. So Buehler isn't just a depth piece. I mean, he's kind of critical to the Padres getting off to a good start this season in 2026. And this is what I think he needs to do in order to stay on this team. Because again, he's not going to be on the team. He's not guaranteed to be on this team the entire year. He still has to pitch his way onto this team for a long period of time. He is still competing. He's competing with guys like Germán Marquez still to stay on this roster. Because if he doesn't pitch well, the Padres will probably eat the $1.5 million and then move on to the next guy. He has to try to force the conversation of, okay, Griffin Canning's back. Let's replace him for Walker Buehler. Oh, wait, Walker Buehler's got a 1 point whatever ERA. The guy's been great. We're going to have to make adjustments here because he's earned this way on the team. So this first month is very pivotal to whether or not Walker Buehler is a Padre for the remainder of 2026. And what he needs to do is he needs to eat innings early. He needs to stabilize the rotation, and he really needs to bridge the gap early in the season if he wants to stay on this team. Because if he fails to do any of those three things, Frank, he's not going to be on the team very long.
No, he'll be out at the first sign, and I think it'll determine whether or not Germán Marquez has done worse than him, really. So if he has a bad start, he's got to hope, at least for his sake, that Germán Marquez is having just as bad or a worse start to the season. So it's like I said, it's not time to rest yet for him. He's not out of the woods. He's completed one of the goals. He now has to find a way to stay on the team that he fought so hard to make.
He has a little bit of leash because it's the old saying, you don't have to outrun the tiger, you just have to outrun your friend. That's kind of where he's at. I mean, he does have to outrun the tiger of competition, but at the same time, he just has to outrun Germán Marquez, which is not the best, but he's got a little bit of a safety net where it doesn't have to be super pressure every single time. Now, I haven't talked too much about this, and we haven't talked about this with Walker Buehler, but what about the Petco Park factor? He's got a 2.18 career ERA at Petco Park. Now, that's going against Padres lineups, right? That's being part of a good organization. That's, a lot of that has to do with like his 97, 98 mile an hour stuff, right? It's a little bit different. Like you have to hold that with a grain of salt, but the pitcher-friendly environment could definitely mask the velocity drop. It could help limit the damage. Honestly, Petco Park, this is why I think the Padres are so good at revitalizing pitchers, because it's a perfect landing spot for a pitcher in transition. And this is another factor that's going, I think, to play out, especially early parts of the year. Now, we haven't seen the weather like this in the last couple of weeks because it's been hot, but usually at the beginning part of the season, when you got the marine layer, there's going to be some guys that hammer pitches by Walker Buehler that are going to die at the warning track or die in the outfield. And you got Ramon Laureano back there, and you got Jackson Merrill back there, and you got Fernando Tatis Jr. back there. Petco Park is a perfect landing spot for Walker Buehler and German Marquez, where it can kind of help mask what some of the early velocity issues might be for these two particular pitchers that used to be ace-level pitchers.
Yeah, well, ace-level pitchers, you're talking about for German Marquez, his career ERAs by year, where he's thrown more than 20 games. 439, 377, 476, 440, 495, and 670 last year when he went 3-16. Those are all in Colorado, where the ball flies.
Joe, I mean, Nick Pavetta's numbers in Colorado are awful when he goes up there.
Yes. So German Marquez is now getting a chance to play every single day in a quote-unquote normal ballpark. That is going to do wonders for his numbers, I am sure. I would not be surprised if he has just his second career on a sub-4 ERA season. If he gets the full year here, I would not be surprised if he has a sub-4 ERA for just the second time in his career where he makes more than 20 starts.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yes,
it's 100% very possible. But you got the high up with both of these pitchers. Now I'm focusing more on Walker Buehler right now, but you got high upside, low cost, and high risk with some of these guys. Like the cost is minimal. If it doesn't work out, it's only going to cost you $1 million for each of these guys, like 1.5, 1.1. It's going to both cost under $2 million per. The ceiling is high. Both of these guys are former aces of their staff. And the floor is, well, inconsistent mid-rotation arm. It's a boom or bust move for the Padres. And the thing is, you don't need both of them to hit. You just need one. You'll take two, though. I mean, obviously, if they both work out, it's going to be awesome. But you only need one of the three, to be honest with you, including Griffin Canning, to really hit.
Yeah, and that's where
make the rotation of Pivetta, King, Vasquez, Buehler, Marquez, which is a rotation that's built on bounce back, some question marks, a lot of internal belief. And I think this is where you really got to rely and lean on Ruben Niebla and the pitching lab that the Padres have. So we got to take a break. Padres are not building a safe rotation here. Big picture is they're betting on upside, they're trusting development, and they're hoping 2 to 3 gambles hit. And Buehler is probably the biggest bet of them all. When we come back, we got news on Ty France. We got news in Walker Buehler. Jason Adam going to be on the opening day roster? He is scratching and clawing to be allowed to do that. We'll talk about the latest outing he had when we come back. There's a look at some of them. We're going to have Frank kind of walk around as I kind of go through what some of these promotional items are. But the Padres today announced their 2026 promotional schedule, including giveaways, theme games, and events. Every homestand, you can get single game tickets for the 2026 regular season home games on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. So you got to still wait until next Tuesday at 10 in the morning Pacific time by visiting www.padres.com. Season ticket members have priority access to tickets and enjoy the best available seats. Season ticket memberships have sold out for the 4th consecutive season due to franchise record demand, and therefore all remaining tickets for the 2026 season are available on a single game basis. So these will be, you could buy tickets starting on February 3rd. There are 15 all-fan giveaways planned for the 2026, highlighted by fan favorites such as high-quality wearables, stylish hats, and bobbleheads, all of which take place during select home games throughout the season, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. There are 3 different styles of hats this year, and there's a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get to that, but we'll just kind of go through the beginning of the season to the end. And see if you can follow along here, Frank, with what we got. But the first giveaway will be on Friday, March 27th. That's the day after opening day. That's the Tony Gwynn opening day. There's going to be an opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Start the season in style with the Cozy Padres opening series scarf, which looks nice. It's great. Nice little scarf. At the beginning games, the early games at Petco Park are usually kind of chilly. But that's a good-looking scarf right there. So that will be against the Tigers on Friday, March 27th. On Monday, March 30th, this one's super cool. On Monday, March 30th, they have I'm a sucker for 1998 stuff. They have a 1998 belt bag, which is perfect for it gets you. It's a bag that you can bring into the ballpark, which is awesome. I know my mom's got a bag like that. My girlfriend's got a bag like that. There's a lot of different, my sister's got a bag like that, and a lot of people use them to get in the stadiums. But now you can have a Padres one, which is great. So 1998 colors too. So they've seen they've debuted the original one that they had. They've had a City Connect one, and now they got a Padres 1998 belt bag. So that will be pretty cool for everybody out there. That's Monday, March 30th. On to Thursday, April 9th against the Rockies will be the Manny's Hot Corner bobblehead. So it's Manny Machado playing third base. They got the flames around the side. It's presented by McDonald's. First 40,000 in attendance. Display-worthy collectible features Machado at third base and is a keepsake for all the faithful. That's a nice little, I like the little bottom there. That's pretty cool. What is that? Is that the armband? Pink armband? Yeah, it looks nice. Again, if you want to go back, you can rewatch this on YouTube and take a look at everything in the on the deal here. Let's move on to the next one. Wednesday, April 15th versus Seattle Mariners. The puffer vest presented by State Farm. That's that vest right there on the table. That's pretty nice. The best part about this is, like, when I was a kid, like, some of the giveaways were kind of lame, but now they have made them so legit. I mean, that's a nice little vest right there. It's presented by State Farm. That will be, again, on April 15th against the Seattle Mariners, a Wednesday game at 6:40. Not a Wednesday day game. It's a Wednesday night game. First 40,000 fans get that. Against the Cubs, there's a waffle beanie presented by Motorola Razr. Waffle beanies on April 28th against the Cubs. Top off your fit with a soft waffle beanie made for night games at a ballpark photo op. This item is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance as well. So that's pretty cool. I like the bobblehead. The one they had last year was cool too. But the beanie. The one they had last year was cool too. First bobblehead for Mason Miller, Thursday, May 7th, at least in a Padres uniform. They got the Mason Miller bobblehead. Watch your speed. Elite pitching with a bobblehead that nods to Miller's clutch moments on the mound. He's got fire coming off of the baseball on his delivery, which is super cool. You can bring that a little bit closer to the camera if you want. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Mason Miller bobblehead giveaway Thursday, May 7th. And we're pretty close, Frank. 135 away. 135 away from 1,000 subscribers on the Braden Surprenant Show page on YouTube. We'll try to get to that number. Be great to get it by the end of the month. We'll see. If you haven't done so already, follow us, or should I say subscribe to us on YouTube. It's free to do. YouTube.com/@B_SURP. @BSURP. You can find us on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube page as well. Go to youtube.com/@97.3 The Fan. If you go on there, and it's pretty easy to do. If you just go on, if you're watching on the 97.3 The Fan page, quickly, it takes 2 seconds to do. It doesn't take a lot of time. Super easy. Doesn't cost you a thing. If you go to the main page on 97.3 The Fan's YouTube page, you can see our shows. And underneath our shows, it says, Ben and Woods, and it has 9.13 thousand subscribers. And it says subscribe. You can hit the subscribe button. Right underneath, you can subscribe to Ben and Woods. If it does not say subscribe, that means you already do subscribe to our page. We really appreciate that. But you can subscribe to Ben and Woods, to the Braden Surprenant Show, Gwen and Chris, who's got five. I mean, somebody go on there and subscribe to Gwen and Chris right now. They have $5.99. Somebody get them to 600. Sam Levitt's got 5.9 thousand subscribers. You can subscribe to him. Matt Scraby, 375. But again, if you go to 97.3 The Fan on YouTube, it will say our shows. It will have all the logos. Underneath the logo, it will have a subscribe button. If yours does not, you already subscribe. And what it does is it gives you the ability to, when you go on YouTube, our stuff is there ready to go from the beginning. And it's easier to find our show. Especially during the baseball season, you're going to want to do that. We have extra content we're going to post for you on YouTube. We're going to have a lot of extra stuff. We do a lot of extra things on YouTube that Frank and I record on Mondays that we put out there. So if you haven't done it already, go on YouTube, youtube.com/@B_SURP. @B_SURP. Helps us out a lot. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're pretty close. Not there yet. But it would really help us out a lot. If you haven't done so already, follow us on social media @B_SURP, @97 through the fan SD. You could also follow our show account @B_SURP show, and be sure to subscribe, like all that stuff with all of our outlets out there. We are in podcast form as well. Wherever you get your podcasts, be sure to like and subscribe to that. So all this stuff just shows up on your phone when we are done posting. You don't have to go looking for it. It does a lot to help. And we got a lot of great content on there. We got a lot of great stuff that we don't have time to talk about on the talk show. Like, we're going to get Frank Marchese's takes of what happened in racing over the weekend. All you racing fans out there, as we get you ready for NASCAR coming up in San Diego in the month of June. So going to be a lot of fun on our YouTube page over the next handful of months. So be sure to do that. We get you extra content out there, as well as some stuff on social media. Let's dive back in. How was the racing weekend? Did you have a good race? Did you watch the racing weekend?
Yeah, it was good. Darlington's always a very fun track, and nothing else on this weekend. IndyCar goes to Barber, I believe, this weekend. Formula One's in Japan this weekend. So NASCAR had the show to itself all weekend this past weekend and put on a solid trio of races.
Did you enjoy covering the NCAA tournament?
Yes, I did. That was a lot of fun. Yes.
Did you go on Friday or Sunday or both?
I went on Friday. I saw I went to the St. John's game, because that was the one I was most interested in to see was the St. John's game. St. John's looked really, really good. It's incredible how good and composed they looked. It's also amazing how the camera adds like 5 years to these kids. Because when you're there,
like children in person.
Yes, when you're there in person, they look like children. They look like they are the 18 or 19-year-olds that they claim to be. I had that same feeling when I went to see the US. Who did USC play in the last Holiday Bowl at Petco?
Oh man, was it? Oregon played North Carolina. Who did USC play? I know they played Iowa at Qualcomm.
It might have been Louisville, possibly. Yeah, I'm standing like right next to the USC end zone as they're doing warm-ups, and I'm like, this kid looks like he's 15. Like this is a child. Like, I'm not going to rip these kids anymore, because they are literally children. So yeah, that was very impressive. Sunday, I felt off all day on Sunday. Like, I didn't want to go anywhere, but I also didn't want to be where I was, like that kind of feeling.
Right. Yeah.
So I ended up not going to anything. I ended up staying home, watching the games on television, watching San Diego FC. Also, I thought that game was at night. It was not. It was right in between both of the games, both basketball games. So Augie, I don't drink, dude. So no, it would not be a hangover.
That is a hangover, though. You had a hangover experience. Unfortunately, you just didn't drink.
Well,
you still have a hangover. You can still have a hangover the next day, regardless if you drank or not. I have many of fast food hangovers I used to get. My worst hangovers are fast food hangovers than they are drinking hangovers.
And it's been a great weekend too. My parents are in Tucson visiting my brother. It's my brother's birthday today, so happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Some March birthdays, man. They're the best.
Yeah, so I've had the house to myself all weekend. It's been a fantastic time.
Love it. It's great. Let's get to Jason Adam over the weekend. So he was able to get some outing, get a little bit of an inning. He was able to get a little bit of a ramp up post-injury. But, the report on Jason Adam over the weekend was he was able to get out there and get some work in And I don't know if it's going to be enough to make the. Jason Adams going to be knocking on Craig Stammen's door and AJ Preller's door, furiously to make this team out of the gate. But I don't know. I mean, is it? I would imagine he probably still needs a couple more outings before they can put him on the major league roster. He, to me, is the biggest question mark when it comes to the roster, because at this point, Frank, we know we know all the position players that are making opening day.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? We know all 13 of them.
Yes, more or less, yes.
We know the starting rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We even know who the number one pitcher is going to be, because the Padres finally announced their opening day starter today in Nick Pivetta. So we know the rotation and we know the position players. The only question mark still is, what is the bullpen going to look like on opening day? And is it going to be with Yuki Matsui? Is it going to be with Jason Adam? Is it going to be with both of them? Is it going to be with neither of them? Is it going to be Bragley Rodriguez? I mean, there's a lot of different question marks still in the bullpen after this weekend.
Yeah, and I think, again, it was funny that we brought it up, that Sam had said it's very hard to see, when we had him on Thursday, it was almost impossible to see Jason Adam making the opening day roster because he hasn't pitched in a game yet. 24 hours later, he's out there on the mound in a spring training game, ready to go. So, and the way he pitched, he looked very good. I would not be surprised at all. Now, again, because he had a leg injury that hasn't affected his ramp up for his arm. So his arm is ready to go for the season. I would not be surprised at all if Jason Adams somehow wiggles his way onto this opening day roster.
I'm just thinking out loud right now. Like, how many more? He went out there and played. How many did he pitch?
That was on Friday.
That was on Friday. We'll see if he pitches today. But today's the last day where he could potentially pitch.
Yes.
Right? And again, it's not about him throwing off a mound. It's not about him using his pitches. It's not getting his arm back. It's not making sure his quad's ready to go.
It's fielding his position.
For pitching, it's, can he stop and start quickly? Can he go cover first base? Can he, as Frank mentioned, field his position? Those are the biggest question marks with Jason Adam. And the question now becomes, how many outings does he have to have in order for the Padres to feel comfortable with that? That is an answer that the Padres have, that you and I don't have.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure if it's been asked to Jason Adam, or if you ask him, it's, I'm ready to go right now, because that's the kind of a competitor he is and the athlete that he is. Padres are obviously trying to protect their asset, but it's you got to find the happy medium between how many games the Padres want to see him be able to do this and Jason Adam going like, I'm ready to go. So sometimes you do have to protect the player from himself, but in this particular case, I just think right now with Jason Adam, like, how many more outings do you think he needs? One? Maybe? Like 2 if you want to be conservative? Again, it's about him fielding a position. And if that's the case, it's like, are you really going to put him on the injured list just to have him get like 2 outings in a minor league game? And by the way, like, doesn't minor league baseball start after Major League Baseball?
Yeah,
don't they have like extended camp? So
it starts like a week later, yeah.
Is it worth putting him on the injured list for 10 days? Is the question.
And again, this brings more to the Padres topic of conversation as to whether or not you want to keep it, you want to see what he can do as far as fielding his position. A perfect inning, line out to second base, pop out to short, strikeout. So he didn't get an opportunity. He faced the minimum guys he could have faced, got out of the inning, got 3 outs, but did not have an opportunity to field his position. They did not get a chance to see whether or not he can hold up in a game situation. So that's the only thing. If you were Jason Adam, you were hoping for a lazy ground ball right back to you, or a diving play by the first baseman to where you had to cover. That you were begging for that and you didn't get it.
Now, if you look at like the minor league schedule for the Padres in terms of spring training, they're going to have extended spring training, later on this week. What's today? The 23rd, right? Monday?
Today is the 23rd.
Okay, so today's going to be the last day of games for the major league roster. But the minor league teams are going to play, the minor league Padres are going to play the Mariners the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. I mean, how many, what do you get him in like 2 of those games to see if he's okay and then see if he's on the roster or not? I mean, maybe you put him on the roster and he just isn't there on opening day. And it's like you just burn a roster spot. I mean, at this point in time, I don't know why you would put him on the injured list for an extra 10 days unless you want to give like a little bit of a tryout to an extra pitcher. But do you really want to burn an option on Bradley Rodriguez out of the gate? Do you want to burn, do you want to put a guy on the team and then have to cut him immediately? I feel like at this point where Jason Adams at, I lean more now towards 60-40 he's on the roster than I did the 40-60 on Friday based on the outing that he had, even though he hadn't had time to, go out there and do anything. Every time where teams hold guys based on like coming back from injury, especially pitchers, it's usually with how he pitches, not necessarily how he fields. I don't know how many games you would need to be up to speed and stopping and starting and fielding your position.
Yeah, and that's all stuff you can simulate, but you can't simulate the adrenaline rush that you would get from actually being in a game and what that does to your body. So he's done all the drills. He's done as many like retention drills, I guess would be a word, to be able to prove that he can do all of that stuff. He just hasn't done it in a game situation, which I think is the only issue. And I'm seeing some people in the chat saying DFA for Yuki Matsui imminent. Yuki Matsui over the next 3 years is owed $20 million.
You're not going to eat that money.
You'll eat 2 for Buehler and Marquez. You're not eating 10 times that for one guy.
No, not when not when everybody needs pitching all the time.
No.
Definitely not.
Yuki Matsui is a Padre at least until the end of 2028.
Yeah, the Jason Adams situation is interesting to me because I think that's a game time decision for the Padres. And to be honest with you, if he's on the roster on Thursday, not going to be surprised. He's not on the roster, also not really going to be surprised. I'm kind of torn right now of what I think the Padres are going to end up doing. We do know that Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be on the roster. He hit leadoff yesterday. He's batting third today. And despite where he might hit, I think he's going to have a big year regardless. We're going to talk about that when we come back. Fernando Tatis Jr. and what type of year he might have in 2026. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. If you missed anything that we have said already, if you're driving around, we're talking about the promotional giveaways for the Padres here in 2026. If you want to check out the website where you could get this, is padres.com/giveaways, and it'll have the whole list. And again, if you want to buy tickets to these games, you could start going. The single game tickets are on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd at 10 in the morning. That's the first chance that you have. Obviously, season ticket memberships have priority to do that. As we move along, we got the patriotic Aloha shirt for the day after Memorial Day. I think May 26th. So it's a Tuesday. Maybe it's coming before, but celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with the Padres theme patriotic Aloha shirt. Pretty nice. Got the Blue Angels on there. It's got the Padres logo. It's got the Padres military logo on a baseball. Nice little Hawaiian shirt, patriotic, against the Phillies on May 26th. Coming up on Tuesday, June 9th against the Reds. Bogey goes boom bobblehead. You got a Xander Bogaerts finishing his home run swing with his signature gray and maroon bat. So that's pretty cool bobblehead as well. It's presented by Palomar Specialty Insurance on June 9th. So Bogaerts has a bobblehead on Tuesday, June 9th. Coming up on Monday, June 22nd against the Atlanta Braves. Got the Western snapback hat. Kind of looks like a rodeo hat. It's pretty cool looking. It's got San Diego Padres in the Western font. if you will. San Diego Padres written in Western font with the SD logo in the middle. Pretty cool looking hat right there. That's presented by Petco. First 40,000 fans in attendance will have that one. Again, all of these are for the first 40,000 fans for these, unless I say otherwise. Wednesday, July 8th, Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. He's repping the navy blue 1998 gear. Honor the Hall of Famer and Padres legendary closer with the Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. Presented by Canels. This bobblehead limited the first 40,000 fans, so it's in stride. Trevor Hoffman, kind of a classic look at bobblehead against the Diamondbacks in July. On July 12th, just for the kids, they have the Squeeze Top water bottle, which is a kids giveaway. I don't know if they have that here today because it's a kids giveaway. Again, some of these are for the first 40,000 fans. Some of them are for the first 10,000 fans. It's a kind of little water bottle for kids 14 and under. It looks like an ice cream sundae, which is pretty cool. Tuesday, July 28th. I know a lot of you guys love this one. It's presented by Soapy Joe's, the poncho. Got the San Diego Padres poncho. Looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm sure you'll see a lot of you guys repping that out there at Padre games. That's on July 28th. Bucket hats. Everybody loves the bucket hat. You got a reversible bucket hat, which you have multiple looks for. You have the Padres white home uniform version. You also have the sand away version as well with the swinging fryer on it. Multiple looks. Home and away bucket hat will be Thursday, July 30th against the Giants. A 6:40 start, first 40,000 fans. Coming up on August 10th, a superhero pocket tee presented by San Diego Community Power, which is pretty cool. Usually right after the Comic-Con road trip that the Padres have to go on. So a little bit of a superhero t-shirt. Pretty good front and back. It's got that front pocket. Small logo in the front, big logo in the back. It's good style for a t-shirt, let me tell you. Coming up on Sunday, August 23rd, it's another kids giveaway. You can check that on the website. Monday, August 24th, the next day against the Pirates, you got the Jackson Merrill robbery bobblehead. So it's Jackson Merrill robbing a home run with the blue fence right there in his home uniform. It's a pretty cool looking bobblehead. And then this is the best one. You thought you were going to give away. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to find out about the City Connect uniforms. Well, we have the bobblehead for the City Connect uniforms. It just hasn't been painted yet. They're not going to display that until the new City Connect uniforms are out. But they have the Fernando Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf. That will be on Tuesday, September 8th against the Washington Nationals. Dressed in the Padres City Connect 2.0, the Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf channels Nando's flair at the plate, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. Dynamic details of this bobblehead will make it a centerpiece for your collectibles. Again, we don't know what the City Connect uniforms are yet, but that is what that will look like. August on 97 to the Fan are brought to you by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better. SDCCU Fan Hotline. We're going to have a live guest today, one of the Savannah Bananas, Max Young Goldberg, who spent some time here playing at the University of San Diego, will join us in the 1 o'clock hour. We will also talk about San Diego FC in the 1 o'clock hour over the weekend. We're going to continue to dive into more Padres topics for you. Today is the final day of the MLB spring training season, at least for the San Diego Padres. I don't think is anybody playing tomorrow?
There's a handful of games tomorrow.
They had stadiums, though?
I'm not sure. Some, like the Cardinals, are playing against their AAA affiliate today.
Interesting.
So let me see.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Springfield Cardinals.
Yeah, Tampa, Atlanta.
Yeah, Houston's playing against their
Boston-
minor league today,
Yeah,
too.
Boston, Minnesota. Houston plays Sugarland tomorrow. They're one of their affiliates, and the Giants are playing the Sultans.
I saw that. I don't know where they're from.
I don't know either.
So those will be tomorrow will be the last day of spring training games, if you will.
There's 8 spring training games tomorrow between major league teams. There's one major, minor, and then there's one major league and then independent league team.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I'm going to find this out.
Like the the Dodgers play the Angels the next 2 days, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Is that one in Anaheim, one in at Dodger Stadium? Are they doing that? Because they've done that in the past. I mean, a lot of those teams do that. We were talking about this off the air. I love when they do that. I think it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a dress rehearsal, if you will. I'm sure like the teams having to like fly a bunch of minor league guys and guys that aren't making the team out to certain locations is probably not the best. But overall, like right now, the Nationals are playing the Orioles at Nationals Park. It's fun. It's great. I remember the Padres used to do that with the Mariners a lot. In fact, I'm pretty sure like the first year that they opened up Petco Park, they did we already know they did the Aztec game there against Houston, but I'm pretty sure they also played the Mariners in a couple of exhibition games that didn't count before they led into the opening day at Petco Park.
Dodgers are playing the Angels both today and tomorrow at Dodger Stadium because God forbid they go down to Orange County.
Well, they might alternate every other year.
And then the Giants are playing the Monterrey Sultans tomorrow from the Mexican League.
Oh, that's fun. Today, Padres can play the Mariners earlier game. It's a 12-10 game instead of a 1-10 game, so they're going to be on here in the next handful of minutes, if or what have you. Ramon Marquez.
Park too.
How many times are the Padres going to face Luis Castillo in spring training? I mean, seriously, like 0-2 with a 10.80 ERA. What is his ERA against the Padres this year? I feel like the Padres have just tagged Luis all spring training long. Ramon Marquez, 1-2, 9.26 ERA, 15 strikeouts on the year. Interesting lineup today. Jake Cronenworth, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill in the cleanup spot, Gavin Sheets, Xander Bogaerts, Nick Castellanos, Freddie Fermin, Ty France, number 9 spot in the order. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. So, anyway. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's we got a couple of minutes. I do want to spend more time on Fernando, and we'll do that in the next hour or so. So I do want to get to the sports thread here in a second, but overall, like the final takeaway from spring training, since we're about ready for like the first game of spring training, I thought the competition for the Padres going into spring has paid off for them in terms of getting players on this team, because as we talked about before, a lot of it was competition throughout the year or throughout spring training. And sometimes he just happened to be the best player out of the group instead of just earning a spot. I think the Padres and the teams that they have, the roster they put together, I think the players that are on this team have earned their spot on this team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's that level of competition that they've brought in over the course of this offseason. It's what they wanted. So yeah, they got guys who are battle tested and ready to go and are more or less in regular season form going into the season, instead of what they've had over the last couple of years, which is guys who are aging veterans like Yuli Gurriel and like Jason Hayward last year that are past their prime, and you're hoping for some sort of way to contribute. Now you've got guys who are ready to go, who are younger, that can move the needle.
Home run, Washington. How about the new bug that they have for MLB? Because you're going to have that bug for the score bug for Padre games because it's an MLB broadcast for Washington. They got the challenge, the
Yes.
ABS challenges on there.
Yeah, it looks pretty much the same, but it's got the challenges.
They got
there.
the challenges on it. It looks like timeouts. Wait a minute. That looks kind of weird. That's going to be interesting to see. All right. Let's get to today's sports thread.
The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me.
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do you got going on in the sports world today?
We got a decent amount of stuff going on, especially around the NCAA tournament. So
Number 1.
we'll start with that. Jerry McNamara is expected to become the new head coach of the Syracuse Orange after leading the Siena Saints to the NCAA tournament this season. McNamara, a program legend who helped Syracuse win the 2003 national title, has strong ties to the school after spending 15 years on staff under Jim Boeheim and Adrian Autry. He would replace Autry, who was fired after 3 seasons without an NCAA tournament appearance. McNamara's recent success at Siena, including a competitive showing against number 1 seeded Duke, combined with Syracuse's renewed NIL commitment, helped position him as the leading candidate to take over at his alma mater. Is hiring a former program legend like McNamara the right move for Syracuse, or should they have looked outside the family for a fresh start?
I think at this point, it's probably time to get a new start at Syracuse. Because, I mean, when's the last time Syracuse... I know they had the little bit of a run with like the end of Jim Boeheim, but they've been pretty non-existent in the last couple of years of college basketball.
Yeah.
They haven't been really scary. They haven't really been close to making the NCAA tournament. They haven't been the same competitive team that they were way back in the day. They're not the blue blood that they used to be. I think you have to go back to what John Calipari said. Administrations win championships, coaches win games. That couldn't be even more truthful than right now. Did you see what Seth Davis just said on ESPN, if you're scrolling on social media? He said, if you want to be a team that makes the Sweet 16, you want to be an actual contender for national title, you must spend a minimum of $12 million on your roster. It's true. That's where we're at right now.
Unfortunately.
So you got to be able to do that in order to make it happen.
Number 2.
We made the joke earlier in the hour about our boy Arson Fudge. Well, he's back at it again. Arson Fudge defended Team USA against criticism that it lacked energy and joy during the World Baseball Classic, saying passion shows up in many different ways. Oh, boy. While other teams like the Dominican Republic and Mexico displayed more visible emotion, Judge explained that Team USA's passion is often quieter and rooted in preparation and love for the game, not outward celebration. He emphasized that players had, quote, the most fun they've had in years and fully embraced the experience, even if it didn't always look the same to fans. Judge also praised the tournament's electric atmosphere and said that he hopes to play in future WBCs and possibly in the Olympics, while acknowledging that maintaining that level of energy over a full season is difficult. Now his focus shifts back to the Yankees' pursuit of a World Series title. Do you think fans should expect more visible emotion from Team USA, or is passion behind the scenes just as valid?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they decided to, choose when to be passionate about it, when not to. It just didn't seem like they were all that interested in winning as much as the other teams were. And that, you know what? Maybe you don't have to just be as projecting of your passion as maybe the other teams were, but it just feels like they weren't as into it. I think that's just an answer from Aaron Judge to make it sound like, oh, we cared, and all that. But their level of play didn't look like it, in my opinion. I think they probably need to look like they really want to, because you know why, Frank?
It's like Go Aztec said in the chat. Didn't you see his passionate speech in the locker room while the other players were looking on their phones?
It's true.
My God, brother.
Here's the thing. I think the other thing that doesn't play in his favor on this particular conversation is the fact that we have seen those players for their MLB teams be more exciting.
Yes.
During games. So it's not like they just grabbed a bunch of just calm, cool guys on this team, and they're all players that are just cool all the time. They have some high level energy guys on that team that you just didn't see during the WBC.
Yeah,
and then and by the way, and then their actions and the comments that they made about the Olympics and all that other stuff.
Yeah, until Bryce Harper gets a home run, then he takes a 5-minute trot. I mean, that's
Number 3.
no passion there. The NCAA will no longer automatically force players to miss time in the next game after a first targeting penalty, approving a 1-year trial rule for the 2026 season. Under the new system, a player's first targeting ejection carries no additional suspension regardless of when it comes during the game. However, repeat offenses escalate. The second targeting call results in missing the first half of the next game, a third, a full game suspension. The rule also introduces a potential appeals process after a second offense, allowing conferences to challenge the call through video review. The change reflects an effort to balance player safety with fairness, addressing longstanding criticism that the previous rule was too punitive for a single infraction. Do you think easing the penalty for a first targeting call improves fairness, or does it risk weakening players' safety?
I think it improves the fairness. I would eliminate all ejections altogether, which they're stepping in the right direction. They have had this in place now long enough, and they've taught it in the lower levels enough in terms of like the proper hitting, that the old hits that were headhunting hits, that were spearing, that were egregious, that needed to be eliminated. That's coming from a football coach who would not teach kids like this. I mean, I've been teaching the same style of tackling technique my entire life because it has always been the proper heads-up tackling technique. They've eliminated those hits. That doesn't mean they've eliminated scary hits. There's going to be collisions in a sport that's violent. You can't get rid of those. But what you shouldn't do is punish kids for playing hard. There's a difference between a spear and kids playing hard, and they have to be able to make the rules input some common sense of exactly what is happening. Like in basketball, that flagrant that the TCU kid got because he grabbed onto the Duke player as he was falling down to protect himself from breaking his own neck. He got a flagrant for that because, he grabbed according to the rules. Like, let's have some common sense with our safety rules of understanding what human bodies do naturally in defense mode for self-preservation. So from that perspective, eliminate. I like this. I think it's in the right direction. Eliminate ejections for this. It has to be egregious, and it's a step in the right direction for targeting rules that needed to be changed for a long time. Because in playoff games, a targeting and an ejection for a kid, or for any player for that matter, is utterly absurd.
Yeah, and that affected Miami in the national championship game because one of their top defensive players got suspended for the first half of the national championship. The one hit that I don't like that they always call targeting on is when the quarterback slides and the kid's already in a tackle, in like going for the tackle, and he hits the quarterback in the head. Like, really, he can't just stop. Like, what do you? No,
he can't. I mean, if you want to, you can't. And if you're a quarterback and you give yourself up way late, then you're going to have the risk. Especially when they outlawed the Pitt quarterback that did a fake slide and then kept running.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even the other thing too, like they'll do that, like trying to fake go out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't reward the offense for a lot of these things on bending the rules. I also think if it's really about safety, you got to teach running backs not to put their head down to initiate contact.
Patrick Mahomes did that also.
A lot of these guys do that on offense, and it's never a targeting on them. They said they put a rule in for that. They never enforce it, like crown of the helmet down as a running back or an offensive player. Until they are enforcing it on both sides of the ball, I will not believe that they're actually enforcing these rules for safety. I won't believe it at all.
The last one here, we're not going to have time, is did you see what Cam Scatabo said? over the weekend about CTE and asthma?
No, I heard Paul mention it right when I was getting home from workout today, so I didn't get the full story. Tell me about it when we come back.
Yes, we'll do.
I gotta know.
Because if there's one guy to talk about CTE, it's Cam Scadabo.
Oh, yeah, that guy's crazy and is kind of his own deal. But when we come back, we'll hear that story. We'll also talk a little bit more about Fernando Tatis Jr. Padres baseball. Final spring training game getting started soon as well.
From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sereno Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Love Craft
I'm waiting
Taco.
for the tacos. Where the damn tacos at?
We got to make our way to. It's, you know what? Every time I've gone to Craft Taco, they've had a Padre game on. It's great. Usually doing a little daytime hour when we get preempted by Padres baseball on a little bit of a 1:10 start. Right, cruise up to Craft Taco, get yourself a taco, they got a TV to watch the game. It's a great time. Hang out with Eddie, big Padres fan too. Awesome time. And then we send Frank to the Natural History Museum. He gets distracted by lemurs.
Yep.
Can't find the Craft Taco over there. We have found it now. We know where it's at.
Yes, we do.
In fact, Frank can even make a video where to find the Craft Taco. How easy it is.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. I want to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. Let's Padres are about to get underway against the Mariners. Final spring training game of the Cactus League. If the Padres win, they'll go 15-15.
Wait, no, it's a 1:00 start. I'm stupid.
What's a 1:00 start?
The Padres are a 1:00 start. I did the 3. Wait.
They're about to start, dude. I look at the thing right here.
Oh, never
They're
mind.
at 12:10 today.
Never mind. I'll be over here if you need me.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Yep. I'm good.
Are you raising your voice at me? Dude, we can all hear you. The last day is a 12:10 deal for some reason. Remember, we're in the same
Yeah,
time
I know.
zone
That's
as
what
Arizona now.
That's what I thought. I thought I didn't adjust for the time zone, so I thought it was a 1:00 start there because they would be 2 hours ahead of it. Now it's never mind.
They would only be an
stupid.
hour in front of us.
Yeah. I thought it was a 1:00 start because of that. So
Right.
like I said, I'll be over here.
It said 12:10 Mountain Time, which means if you did believe they're an hour ahead, then they would have started an hour ago. 11:10.
Oh, I'm just stupid.
I thought the Curb Your Enthusiasm song would play.
No,
But here we are. Okay. The Padres are starting in about 7 minutes.
yes.
I will say that. Okay. So then now we're on the same page here. Juan Ruiz in the YouTube chat. Story of Frank's life. Needlessly complicated.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's okay. That happens. All right. Before we talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. and give you updates of the Padres game, which is about to get underway, as you'll see the final start of Germán Marquez. Germán Marquez still kind of needs a decent outing today in his quest to make the team. Now, I think it's his spot to lose at this point in time. Doesn't sound like anybody else is going to be really challenging for that final spot, especially after the other roster moves that the Padres made and assigning players to minor league camp. But I think it would be a nice sign of confidence for the Padres to have Germán Marquez have a good outing today against the Mariners. Padres got a big league lineup out there today. No Ramon Laureano, by the way. Surprising to you?
No.
They got Castellanos left.
Okay.
And Laureano is getting the day off. We'll see what I'm curious to see the opening day lineup for the Padres, though. Before we talk about Fernando, let's get to the last story of the sports thread with Cam Scatabo.
Yeah. So this was Cam Scatabo issued an apology after making controversial remarks in a podcast interview where he dismissed CET and asthma as excuses. Scatabo later clarified that the comments were just a tasteless joke.
What did he say?
He said that CTE and asthma were just excuses for guys to not play hard.
I don't know about that, Cam.
Yeah, no. As someone coming from someone who most likely will have CTE and coming from someone who does have asthma, that's kind of ridiculous. That really, really is.
I mean, CTE is definitely a thing. Like a lot of people hit CTE that don't play football just by taking shots to the head. You know, like it's not crazy. I think there's still more research that needs to be done on a lot of this, and unfortunately, you can't check anything until a person passes away, and then you donate the brain, and then all that other stuff. I mean, my grandfather had some of that. He was a boxer. Yeah. Never played football in his life. He was a boxer. Like, it happens to a lot of people. That's just part of the deal with taking blows to the head. But, to say that it's not a big deal and to say that it's like it convinces, it's just a way for players to not, an excuse for them not to play hard is just, it's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, he said it was never his intention to downplay the seriousness of either condition, both of which have well-documented health risks, especially CTE in football players exposed to repeated head trauma. Backlash prompted a public apology on social media where he acknowledged poor judgment and vowed to be more mindful moving forward.
Now, is he doing this because he got yelled at, or is he doing this? I'm
sure he's doing it because he got yelled at.
He feels bad.
I'm sure he's doing it because he got yelled at.
I think his agent was like, "Bro, you're out of your mind."
I'm sure his agent, the Giants, the NFL.
The NFL's probably like, "Bro, you can't be talking like this, dude." It's kind of
that's it's stupid.
He already does some crazy stuff.
Yeah, like I said, it's not surprising coming from him, but like, what are you saying, dude?
No,
like, what are you saying? Come on,
it's not great, not great. All right, let's get to. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how in the next hour we're going to be giving away Padres tickets to their game on Friday. It is the scarf giveaway, which is super cool. So that will be in the 1 o'clock hour. We will be having a trivia question for you to answer. First one to call in, answer the trivia question, will win tickets to the Padres Tigers game for Friday, which is this week. So exciting. So exciting. Now, we've talked about this a lot. I thought I talked about it a lot last year. I thought Fernando was going to have a big year last year. Obviously, probably didn't have the power numbers I think a lot of people were expecting him to have. I think a lot of that was the fact that he had a good approach at the plate in terms of finding ways to get on base. I also don't think he was really well protected by Luis Arraez behind him, but we'll see what Luis Arraez does in San Francisco. But Kevin Acee wrote a very long article about Fernando Tatis Jr. And my takeaway from this is I do believe that he's going to be having a really good year. I thought you saw some of it, a little bit of a taste of it in the WBC. But the majority of this article is about Fernando versus own expectations. He's coming off of a 6.1 WAR season, which is elite tier in Major League Baseball. Is that right? I have to double check that. And I have to double check it because people wanted to complain that Fernando was just like, oh, he was just miserable being a leadoff guy. He had a 5.9 B WAR last year, so he had a 6.1 Fangraphs WAR, which is elite. That is the second highest WAR that he has had in a single season in Major League Baseball. At age 26, he's 27 this year. He's still got a lot of great years in front of him. But despite coming off a 6.1 F WAR, Fangraphs WAR, Fernando still believes there's more in there that he can get to. He views his own performance as underachieving. Statistically, 25 homers, 32 stolen bases, 368 on base percentage, a 131 weighted runs created plus, which is 31% above league average. In reality, top 10 to 15 player in baseball. But his mindset is it's not good enough. I mean, somebody in the YouTube chat already said, like, well, his defense carried his WAR last year. It feels like a 131 weighted runs created plus, Frank, is high for an offensive stat. Again, 31% above league average for offense in players. Still impressive. But he's still chasing a version of himself that may be unrealistic, but MVP level. I think when he first came into the league, he was expecting himself to be an MVP each and every year. And we're in an era of baseball right now. We have the best player. We have the best group of players ever assembled in Major League Baseball. You're watching the best ever in the history of the world play baseball right now. I mean, the level of talent in Major League Baseball is ridiculous right now, and it continues to create competition amongst all the players individually to be the best player in baseball. And Fernando thinks he could be one of those best players. His internal pressure is greater than the external pressure that people put on Fernando. And in this article with Kevin Acee, he admits that you definitely get in your own head, constantly searching for the click. And the pattern for him has been overthinking, mechanical tinkering, inconsistency. If you look at some of the problems he had in 2025, which again, a 131 weighted runs created plus last year, a 6.1 F4. These are insane numbers and elite numbers for a kid that was an all-star last year at age 26. Now, in terms of his problems, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, maybe the power, maybe this, maybe that. Maybe he's not as consistent as we have seen with Fernando. He was making constant swing changes last year. Leg kick, no leg kick. Back again with the leg kick. Hand positioning adjustments. And the result of all of his little tinkering during last year's season was now no consistency despite elite production. His biggest flaw isn't the talent, obviously. It's the over-adjustment. It's him constantly trying to find a way to make himself perfect, which is almost impossible. Pretty much impossible. Now, the Padres' overall shift around Fernando and manager Craig Stammen's priority right now, as he mentioned, job number one, unlocking Tatis. Focus on the confidence building with Fernando, his identity, his personality. And the entire organization is making it their main goal to make sure that Fernando is the best player he could possibly be. And he is at that level that Fernando thinks of himself. They want to make him achieve the goal that Fernando has for himself about being an MVP level player. They've brought in some new hitting infrastructure. Steven Souza Jr., hitting coach. Another key addition, though, is Raul Padrón. He is a longtime mentor of Tatis. He is a trusted voice, and his focus is consistency over constant change. It's a big philosophy shift in the offense for this year. Less tinkering, more routine, more accountability. And the biggest game changer, though, of course, for Fernando is his health. This is the first fully healthy season for Fernando in years. He had the shoulder with the labrum. He had the wrist surgery. He had the PED suspension. He had the femur stress fracture in 2024. This offseason, he had no rehab limitations. He got an earlier start to training. And this might be the first true clean runway season of his career. And they have given him all the resources to be great this season with the philosophy change, with who they brought in to be the hitting coaches, with the investment into Fernando for him to unlock being the player that he wants to be. And the best version of Tatis, in my opinion, is emotional Tatis. The Tatis you saw in the WBC and when he dominated in the WBC. The one that you see with his energy, his swagger, his confidence. And the organizational belief in Fernando is joy of Fernando feeling the joy, performance multiplier. The problem, though, of course, is you can't sustain WBC level energy for 162 games. So the goal for the Padres this year is to find controlled intensity over a full season. Lineup context with this. With Tatis's frustrations, he felt isolated in the lineup last year. He often thought he was leading off with no runners on, limited RBI and run creation opportunities. His belief is better lineup unlocks a full skill set. More chaos on bases, more impact moments. For Tatis, he doesn't just want to be great. He wants context to amplify his greatness. So the new messaging to Tatis, as laid out in this article, you don't have to be a superhero. It's shared responsibility. It's team support. It's removing isolation. Where past issues have felt like he had to carry the franchise, that the goal in 2026 is turned Tatis from burden carrier to tone setter. So his elite production, he's not satisfied with. His mental approach has been greater than his physical ability. The Padres have restructured around one player's ceiling here with Fernando Tatis Jr., with the health that he has, plus a mindset change. Padres think they can get Fernando, and Fernando thinks he could get to that MVP level explosion. And if he clicks, the Padres ceiling definitely skyrockets. It asks the question, though, Frank, is Fernando actually hurting himself by chasing perfection? I think he is to an extent, and I think the big picture for the Padres this year is let's get Fernando in a place where he feels comfortable with what he's doing. Let's eliminate the burden of him trying to carry the team. Let's put him in a position where he's having fun and enjoying himself, because that's the level that Tatis is usually playing at the highest number. And when Tatis is at that level, the Padres are at a different level.
Yeah, and you have to realize you're never going to be perfect. Like, I want to run perfect shows here. Like, I don't want to make any mistakes over on this side, and I do almost every single day. Whether or not you guys hear them or pick up on them is a different story, but I make mistakes here every day. You can only get as perfect as you possibly can be. It's you're never going to be perfect, because the second you think you've hit perfection, there's something else is going to crop up that you're going to see that you're going to want to tinker and mess with. So you just have to focus not on being perfect, but on being the best form of yourself, which, again, for all of Fernando's off-field struggles last year and on-field struggles last year, he was nowhere near it. From what we've seen so far this spring training, and especially from the World Baseball Classic, he's just about back to being himself, feeling like himself, looking like himself, having that passion, having that energy, having that drive. So yeah, I would expect Fernando to have a very, very big year. And it would not surprise me at all if he's in the National League MVP hunt.
I just think for a lot of people that are Padres fans that saw this kid come up in 2019 and saw that debut of Fernando against the Giants and what everything that Fernando has accomplished, that the Padres have expected Fernando to be this MVP each and every year. And he has had a lot of struggles at the beginning part of this season. But the reality is the Padres, or should I say Fernando, has had a very interesting start to his career, and he's still super young. Even though he's been in the league for as many years. He's 27 this year. He's going to be 27. This is age 27 season. You know, you're in your prime at age, 28 to 32, right? That's kind of like the years that are relatively in your prime. Mm-hmm. Fernando missed it. I mean, he's missed a lot of time with injuries. He's missed a lot of time with that suspension. And I think the couple of things with this that really stand out to me. One, he's getting the full investment from the team. The organization is doing everything they possibly can to set Fernando up for success, which is great. That's a good step in the right direction. Not to say that they haven't done that in the past, but they're really overemphasizing that this year with setting him up with people that make him comfortable, people he can trust, people he can lean on, how the lineup is constructed, everything like that. That's number one. Number two, this is like legit. This is the first year he enters a season healthy. He didn't have to do any type of rehab in the offseason, right? He wasn't coming off of an injury in the offseason like he did last offseason, like he has done in other years. He has been able to train earlier in his career, earlier in the offseason. I think that's going to lead to a lot of success just on the health side of things. And then the last one, I mean, it's the give and take of trying to be great, right? It's the mindset of this isn't good enough, and not enough of like, well, this is like understanding that he is having success. That chase for perfection is very difficult for people. And that's just the kind of level player that Fernando is. He is that person that wants to chase perfection. But the thing is he can't beat himself up about it, because that's going to spiral out of control and other problems for Fernando. So with all of that being said, I think this is going to be a big year for Fernando Tatis Jr. And if he has a big year, the Padres are going to have a big year. How are the Padres doing right now in spring training? Well, not a great start for Ramon Marquez. We'll update you on it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Sending Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. All right, there's some confusion on that. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We have Padres tickets to give away in the next hour or so. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, so MLB.com had German Marquez listed to start the game today for the Padres, but he's not starting the game today for the Padres. He's actually coming in after Kyle Hart starts the game today for the Padres. So the first inning for the Padres was not on German Marquez. It was on Kyle Hart. Kyle Hart hit the first batter he saw on Brendan Donovan. He then gave up a double to Cal Raleigh. He then gave up a single to Julio Rodriguez. It was 1-0 Mariners. Josh Naylor struck out. Randy Arozarena grounded out. Rob Refsnyder flew out. It was 1-0 Seattle after one. Padres got a runner on. Fernando got hit by a pitch in the bottom half of the first, but nothing else out of that. Ground out of Jake Cronenworth to start the inning. Ground out of Manny Machado. Jackson Merrill flew out after seeing 4 pitches. And that's it for the Padres in the bottom half of the first inning. So, no, it was not German Marquez starting. It was Kyle Hart. So, Kyle Hart has given up the run, not German Marquez, which is what a lot of people, I think, thought was going to be the case with the deal. But it sounds like German Marquez is scheduled to come in after Kyle Hart today. So, there you go. Any other details on that we need to pass along? I don't think so. I think we're okay. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant, as mentioned before. Let's get to, if you can, for the next couple of minutes, and we're going to need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff here coming up in the next segment or so. If you could take me down in some sports trivia in the next segment, you'd be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 resort credit. March is here, and Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game. High-energy watch parties with expansive screens, great food and drinks, exclusive room rates, plus the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 to participate in that. That's when we come back. Now, today we got some news from the Padres. Craig Stammen had announced in front of the media that we have a opening day starter against the Tigers. Here is Craig Stammen filling us in.
Craig, can you tell us who your opening day starter will be on Thursday?
No, we're going to wait one more day. No, I'm just kidding. Opening day starter, 2026 San Diego Padres will be Nick Pivetta. We're excited for Nick to get his chance to start opening day. He was our best pitcher throughout the whole entire last season. Was our number one starter when we took on the Cubs in the wild card series. He has pitched great in spring training, and he deserves to get the opening day nod.
I want to qualify this by saying I know there's 161 games after, and it's only one game. But given all that you just said, why are we standing here a day before you leave, or the day you leave, and finding out? What were you guys' considerations?
Yeah, I think we're deciding between him and Michael, and part of it was Nick's little break that he took in spring training, and whether we felt comfortable with him as not a highest pitch count as Michael, taking the ball on opening day. And so we weighed all the options and, kind of stuck with what we felt like going into spring training was, the guy that deserved to pitch on opening day. And I think the other part is like Michael pitched on opening day last year. So maybe there's some familiarity with pitching on opening day, but felt in the end like opening day starter has a lot to do with what you've done the past year. And if you're deserving of that and then healthy enough to take the ball on opening day. And so Nick checked all those boxes. We're excited for him. What an opportunity for him to start an opening day and represent us in that first inning.
I just read Go Aztecs on our Twitch chat. Second question was a little ridiculous. I mean, Kevin sounded a little disgruntled that the Padres waited this long to announce their opening day. So who cares? Do we care? I know the Padres were the last team to announce their opening day starter. Does it really matter when they announce it? I mean, does it really matter? I think you could read the tea leaves on this and just be like, okay, it looks like it's probably going to be Pivetta, right? Do they have to say it super early? Is there a certain time that they have to announce who the opening day starter is? I mean, maybe
before the game, hopefully.
You know what? I'm gonna give Kevin the benefit of the doubt here. Okay, maybe Kevin couldn't drive home to San Diego until he got that information. Maybe that's what they're waiting for.
I mean, you knew who it was between. You knew it was two guys. You knew it was King and Pivetta, and Stammen even said it. You could have guessed one of the two. You had a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't like as a.
Oh no, you can't. Oh no,
guess,
no, absolutely not. No, I'm not suggesting that.
He was. I get where he's coming from. I just think it just kind of sounds probably worse than it is because he said like, well, what took so long? Like, what was the internal conversation to get to this point, right? And so maybe he's calling out like the Padres for. Maybe he thinks they're playing games or something. I don't know. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but it just. The tone from the second question was a little like, okay.
I do want to make it clear. I was not suggesting that Kevin Acee just put out an article guessing who he thought the opening day starter was. My thought was you really have a choice. What I was saying was there's really only two guys that you're fighting against. It's not like Randy Vasquez was going to be a surprise opening day starter. You knew it was one of the two.
Right. Let's hear from Nick Pivetta. Here's what Nick Pivetta had to say about being the opening day starter. Obviously a big deal for a lot of people in Major League Baseball. And now he gets to say that he gets to start on opening day.
Well, Nick, congratulations on getting the nod for opening day. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
Just grateful for the opportunity. Excited. Excited to get out of Arizona and just start the season off, in sunny San Diego.
Your first opening day start in your career. What's the significance of getting this kind of opportunity?
I think you just kind of look at the guys that, have gotten opening days in the past that I played with, and, they're all great pitchers, great human beings. So it's just an honor to be able to get that. And hopefully I can just start off on a good start.
Last year, you had the opportunity to pitch in San Diego, experience what the ballpark is like, the sold out crowd, some of the electricity there. What's your level of anticipation to have this opportunity in that kind of environment in particular?
Yeah, it's just excitement. I mean, I think it's just fun for us to just be able to play in front of the fans, the people who love the game. I think that's the most important thing. So as long as you're going on having fun, enjoying the moment, it's always fun to have first in the big leagues. And it's another one. So I'm excited for it.
This seemed like as big a no-brainer as there's been in a long time. Did you come into spring thinking you'd probably be going on?
I just didn't really focus on it too much. For me, it's just, it's not about how we start, it's how we finish. I've said that before, but I think it's just, it's an honor to be a part of. Like I said, it's great pitchers have done it before, and I just want to put my best foot forward and hopefully come away with the win and start us off on a fresh start. I think it's good.
When did you find out?
A couple hours ago.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I know you're full season, you want to win, all that, but like the setback, or not the setback, the slowdown that you had this spring, you think that had anything to do with delaying this decision?
I don't know. You could ask Craig that. They make the decisions over there. I'm just a player. That's why I have a locker over here. So whatever decisions they make and whatever time they want to make it doesn't really matter to me because it's just spring training. I'm just getting ready for the season. I know I'm going to pitch one of those days early, so that's just where my mind's been at, and just grateful for the opportunity.
I think I know the answer to this, but given the slowdown and the build back up, maybe you didn't get one more start or go up as high. Like, where are you at?
Oh, I'm good. I feel very confident where I'm at with my body. There should be no setbacks, no delays, but, we also have a great bullpen, so that's always nice to have in the back of your mind as well. But, just capable and ready to go. I felt like I came out of my last start very comfortable with how my body felt.
Your desire to get out of Arizona with the heat.
It's about a 10. I think everybody here's a 10. Right?
And is that the heat or the way the ball flies?
I think it's a little bit of both at this point. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of both. It's also a lot easier when you play in San Diego to get out of there. I bet you it's a little bit harder for places that are cold to go back to. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going back to Chicago where it's going to be 30 degrees.
And from an hour ago, from friend of the show, Annie Heilbrunn, Padres announced Pivetta is their opening day starter, King game 2, Vasquez game 3. So it's falling in line exactly how we anticipated it.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, this is not groundbreaking stuff.
No, not at all.
For any of us.
It's just confirming everything we've felt for the last couple of weeks.
We talked about it out loud. I mean, everybody else has probably been having their side conversations about this, as they get ready for opening day, but this is going to be the rotation. I mean, everything has been built into this. The only question marks now is what the bullpen is going to look like. Are they going to keep Kyle Hart to be a long relief guy? Is Yuki Matsui and Jason Adam going to be on this team or on the injured list? Is it Ron Marinaccio as that last guy in the bullpen with guys potentially being out? Does that lead to Bradley Rodriguez being like, the only question marks now is the bullpen. That's it. Armand Marquez has come in for Kyle Hart in the game as expected. We'll give you an update on how he's doing when we come back and play our game on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 12:42 on a Monday. Big sports weekend over the weekend here in San Diego. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. We're about at that time where we can get to the game, but let's get to what's going on in the Padres game right now. Mariners up 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. It was Kyle Hart starting the game for San Diego, not Germán Marquez. Germán Marquez was scheduled to come in after Kyle Hart. And when Marquez came in the second inning, he struck out Mitch Garver, fielding error behind him by Ty France, got Leo Rivas on the board on the base pass. Ryan Bliss then flew out. Germán Marquez walked Brendan Donovan, who reached for the second time today, and then he struck out Cal Raleigh. So really good bounce back inning there for the Padres, and a good inning for Germán Marquez, which is obviously the biggest storyline in the final game of spring training before they head back. I mean, and you heard the comments from Nick Pivetta. He cannot wait to get back to San Diego. One, because the ball is flying out of the ballpark in Arizona. It's hot, ball travels. And also, two, it's a lot better weather-wise here in San Diego than it is in Arizona. It is about that time. We haven't gotten to it in a while. In the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to be giving away Padre tickets to the game coming up on Friday against the Tigers. You'll have to answer a trivia question for that. We will also be joined by Savannah Banana and Max Young-Goldberg. He'll be coming in the next hour as well. Talk a little bit about what the Bananas did over the weekend, and kind of a fun story of how he became a Savannah Banana and what the process is like and what it's like to being part of one of the most noticeable and one of the most up-and-coming events in baseball right now, as they just were here in San Diego over the weekend. But before we get to any of that, as well as talking about San Diego FC over the weekend, it is time to get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, that's no good. Are you kidding me, Mr.
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Caden in San Diego playing today. Caden, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good.
All right, so today's topic, again, sticking with the Padre opening day lineups as we have over the last couple of weeks. Prior to these last 2 years, the last time the Padres had a 90-win season was 2010. What was the starting 9 on opening day for the Padres in 2010? Caden, you have the first guess.
Chase Headley.
Chase Headley was the third baseman batting 5th.
I'm going to go with our colleague, afternoon show host, Tony Gwynn Jr. was on that team. He played center that day?
Leading off in center, yes. Caden.
Does rotation count?
Yes.
Whoever the opening day starter was.
Can I go Hoffman?
He was not.
No, it was not the starting pitcher.
Okay.
I'll give you a pass on that one.
How nice.
I don't know. Give me.
All right, so strike one for Caden. Braden?
Let's go with Chicago White Sox manager Will Venable.
Will Venable was the right fielder that day. Caden?
Was there a Kyle B? What was his last name?
Close.
I'll give it to you. Kyle Blanks was the left fielder batting 4th.
Kyle Blanks. So we have Chase Headley, Kyle Blanks, Tony Gwynn Jr., Will Venable.
Yes.
Correct?
All the outfield spots and third base.
All right. Playing second was David Eckstein.
Batting second, playing second. Caden.
Catcher. Hundley.
Nick Hudley, yes.
Arizona Wildcat, Nick Hundley.
You guys are tied at 3 here so far. Braden?
Okay. Shortstop. This was not the shortstop to end the season, but he was the shortstop at the beginning of the year. His name is Everett Cabrera.
Everett Cabrera, correct. We are missing the first baseman and the starter for that day, Caden.
Baxter. Mike Baxter.
No, unfortunately not. That was a good guess. He was one of the Padre bench pieces.
Who did you
I don't
say?
think Mike Baxter is who he said. I don't think he was a bench piece then, but he was on the team around that time.
I can't believe this hasn't been said yet. But
I know.
from Eastlake High School, Adrian Gonzalez, first baseman.
Yep, Gonzo was there, and unfortunately, Caden, that is 5 for Braden, so you can no longer tie. Braden wins today. You want to take a guess who the starting pitcher was?
Me? John Garland was the starting pitcher.
Yes, he was.
I was a sophomore in high school? Sophomore in high school this year. I remember this team.
Yep. So starting 9 on opening day 2010 and a 6-3 loss against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. Tony Gwynn Jr. in center, David Eckstein at second, Adrian Gonzalez at first, Kyle Blanks in left, Chase Headley at third, Will Venable in right, Nick Hudley in center, Everett Cabrera at short, and John Garland on the mound.
John Garland. It was a one and done for him with the Padres. The Padres would find those guys all the time back then. That 2010 team missed the playoffs winning 90 games. That team needed to win 3 games in a row in San Francisco to make the postseason. They won the first 2, and Matt Latos, who had been the ace of the staff that entire year, started game 3, didn't have the ace of the staff kind of year. Or kind of day on that day, and the Padres missed out on the playoffs by 1 game because they needed to win that to force like a game 163. I'm pretty sure with because Atlanta was a part of it, the Giants, and then that you know what that did? That sparked the Giants 3 World Series in 6 years, or whatever it was, or 3 and 5 years, whatever. Like winning every even year for the San Francisco Giants. That year, he said Nick Hundley, right, was the catcher on opening day. Jorvik Torrealba ended up having the most starts at catcher that season. And your shortstop, do you remember who the Padres traded for at the deadline? They traded for 2 players at the deadline to help with this team.
2010, I do not know, no.
Miguel Tejada, they traded from Baltimore. He was the shortstop at age 36. He actually didn't do poorly for the Padres. I just pulled up his stats in a Padres uniform. 1.2 WAR in 59 games for the Padres at 268 with a 730 OPS. And then what arguably could be one of the worst trades for the Padres at a deadline. Ryan Ludwig. They acquired. Ooh. He was terrible in a Padres uniform. And the whole time he would complained about the ballpark being the reason why he couldn't hit. I mean, I get it. It's a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, but come on. I can't remember who was part of that trade, but I do know. Oh, you know who was a part about that trade? That's why this is one of the worst trades ever. So the Padres got Ryan Ludwig, right? Do you know who they gave up?
No, I do not know.
They traded. It was a 3-team trade. The Padres got Ludwig. The Cleveland Indians were a part of that trade. As they got somebody back. Nick Greenwood went to the Cardinals. Padres got Ryan Ludwig. And the Cleveland Indians got who? Corey Kluber from the Padres. Padres traded Corey Kluber for Ryan Ludwig. Awful. No, he was a Cardinal. The Padres got him from the Cardinals, and he ended up playing for the Reds after that when the Pirates purchased the contract of Ryan Ludwig. He was terrible for the Padres. Just not one of the greatest trades in the world when it comes to the trade deadline. But that was back before, obviously, before this new ownership group, before AJ Preller. That was like the Padres going all in on spending. Now, the other thing, too, is they had a three-headed monster in the back of their bullpen. Heath Bell was their closer. Mike Adams, their setup guy. And 26-year-old Luke Gregerson was their seventh inning guy. I mean, you got to the seventh inning. It was shutdown time for the Padres in terms of their bullpen. Their bullpen was legit. Gregerson, Adams, Bell is still one of like the top three groups back there for the ever for the Padres. It was pretty impressive. They were incredible. Edward Mexico was part of that bullpen at age 26. Joe Thatcher, shout out Joe Thatcher. Grossmont product Kevin Correa was part of that. That rotation was Clayton Richard at age 26, Sean Garland, Matt Latos, Wade LeBlanc, and Kevin Correa. As Go Aztecs in the Twitch chat says, what I love about these lineups is it makes me grateful for the lineups recently. Yeah, kind of. I no disrespect to Tony Gwynn Jr. hit leadoff and played center field. That was a team that was not expected to be very good. And they won 90 games. Jerry Hairston Jr. was on the team. Scott Hairston was on the team. Kristen Norfia was on that team. Guys like Oscar Salazar was on that team. I remember they pulled up Aaron Cunningham that year, and Aaron Cunningham was supposed to be like the next best thing for the Padres coming up. They also had 42-year-old Matt Stairs on that team. The heck of a baseball team. 2010 San Diego Padres. All right, you got a couple more of those this week, Frank?
Yes, we do.
Leading into opening day.
Opening day lineups. Call in if you know your Padre history.
We will give you an update of what's going on in the Padres game when we come back. Also, joining us in studio, Max Young Goldberg, Savannah Banana, Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. Final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show, leading into Gwen and Chris. We got the last spring training game going on. Mariners have a 2-0 lead. Padres trying to be 500 in spring training, Frank. I know you're on the edge of your seat for that.
Absolutely.
What's the Mets record in spring training?
I don't know.
Are they going to win? Are they going to win the televisions at?
I don't think the Grapefruit League gives out televisions.
What do they give out? Sound systems? They got to give out something to the winner.
I have no idea. I think the Mets might actually be done. Yeah, because they don't play today or tomorrow.
And they are done. Everybody's getting replaced now in the game. Everybody's driving home. Mariners just replaced like half their team. Line change.
They're 12-13 in spring training.
Armand Marquez's second inning of work struck out Julio Rodriguez. Josh Naylor grounded out. He gave up a home run to Randy Arozarena, walked Rob Refsnyder, and then he struck out Mitch Garver. So that's it for the second inning for Armand Marquez. This will probably be the last inning for the Padres in terms of their stars playing. Cronenworth flew out. Machado hit a grounded out. Fernando's up right now. And you're going to see everybody start driving back home to San Diego at this point. We got opening day on Thursday. But before opening day on Thursday, we had a fun weekend this weekend at Petco Park. And now joining us in studio is one of the Savannah Bananas. I know a lot of people went out there this weekend. His name is Max Young Goldberg. He played baseball at the University of San Diego, has gone through some independent ball as well, but a new member of the Savannah Bananas. And he joins us in studio here on the Braden Surprenant Show. Max, what's going on? How's your Monday? You sore after the weekend, playing a lot of games?
Yeah, incredible opportunity to be back here in San Diego with the Savannah Bananas. Just amazing to be back in San Diego after a little bit of a hiatus. But yes, definitely sore.
How's that? So let's get into before we start talking about like what happened over the weekend and what it takes to be a Banana and like in the baseball side of things. Now, you joined me on Friday on the USD broadcast for an inning or so. So I've gotten a little bit of background knowledge, but I thought this was interesting. You are a player that played college baseball at USD. They went to Hope, did a lot of independent ball. In fact, we were in here watching you a couple of months ago in Baseball United because your name popped up as the 3-hitter for whatever team you were playing on. I'm like, I know that name. That kid went to USD, and now you're playing for the Bananas, which is really cool. But what is the process like to finding your way onto the Savannah Bananas? Because I think a lot of people might think might be some actors involved, but you guys are all baseball players that have played at a very high level in your careers. How did Max Young Goldberg end up on the Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, so as you said, I started at the University of San Diego. I was there from 2019 to 2022. Incredible journey for me there. Maybe not exactly what I envisioned my Division I career looking like, but a lot of life lessons, a lot of lifelong friends that I met, and it definitely prepared me for my next step when I went to Hope International. So I was there for just about 6 months, just a semester, and that kind of jump-started my professional career, where I went to Boise, Idaho. I was with the Hawks for 2 years. Obviously had a great year in 25. And then I think we talked about this story on the broadcast for the USD game, but it's kind of halfway point during the season. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm having a great year, but I really want to kind of get some clarity on what my career is going to look like for the next few years, hopefully, because that was my goal, was to continue playing as long as I could. And I started looking through my Instagram direct messages, and I see that I have one that I haven't read. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I check my Instagram enough to like not miss a message. And I scroll all the way down and I see the recruiter for the Savannah Bananas, Barry Aldridge, had reached out, and I'm like, how did I miss this? Because at some point or the other, right, you think to yourself, there's no way a message that's been in your inbox for, I can't remember how many weeks, but I think it said somewhere around 100. And so I open up the message and I look at it thinking, again, how did I miss this? I have to respond. Like, this is something that I've been thinking about. I had seen it on my feed, and I was just kind of intrigued by the way they played the game, the way that it was a fan kind of dominated sport. And what I mean by that is we do what we do for the fans to enjoy it and for them to experience the fun and joy that we have playing on the field and dancing and all that stuff. So I reached out to him, and then he reached back out to me, and we got into a phone call. And when I heard what the plan was for the season and what the tour was going to look like, for me at that point, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, like this is something that I could definitely see myself doing long term. So finished out the season in Idaho. Obviously, you're talking about the Baseball United League. So I went out to Dubai for a month. And then during that process, figured out that I was going to be in the draft for this year's Banana Ball player draft, their first one ever. And the rest is kind of history. It was a second round pick, and now we're here.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting. We're talking with Max Young Goldberg, who is a Savannah Banana on the roster, just performed here at Petco Park. The draft threw me off. I didn't know there was a draft, but as of right now, and just kind of the history of the Savannah Bananas, Max, just real quick before we dive into the draft. There used to be a collegiate summer team, and then they had the idea of let's have a little bit more fun with this throughout the offseason. Let's create this sport. Let's create this version of it called Banana Ball. And it really blew up to the point that not only do you have the Savannah Bananas and Banana Ball, but you have other teams now that also are a part of this and part of this tour. And now they have like a draft. So when you got recruited to be a, Savannah Banana, or be part of this particular tour, you were open then to potentially get drafted by any of the teams that play Banana Ball.
That's right. That's 100% right. I think in the process of getting drafted and going through talking with teams, I think the thing that crossed my mind was that I was definitely open to playing for any team. I felt like in the interview process that I had with the Bananas, that kind of made the most sense based on the conversations that we'd had. I think them knowing my personality, the little connections between my head coach and some guys that I played for. So that was, again, that for me made me feel that would be the best fit. But hearing from all the different coaches and talking with them and meeting them, I really felt like to some degree any team would have been a great fit. And I think what I bring to the table was kind of the separator for me personally.
What are some of the questions they ask you? Again, for a lot of people that are like tuning in listening to the Savannah Bananas, they might know about it. It's like, oh yeah, they're kind of like the Globetrotters and they do a lot of tricks and they play this kind of weird level, this kind of fun dynamic of baseball, and they're selling out stadiums and it's kind of a gigantic show, but there's a lot of baseball involved. What are those interview, without, giving away secrets, but what are those? I mean, they ask you about obviously how good you are at baseball. They give you like, questions like what kind of tricks would you do? I mean, what's the interview process like to be a Savannah Banana?
Yeah. So for me, the coaching staff and I, we talked a lot about what the values are and what it takes to be on that type of stage every night. Like, are you prepared for that? Because really, until we played at FSU a couple of weeks ago, you step onto that field, you see 60,000 fans, and it's different. It's not like you're playing college baseball in a 3,000 capacity crowd where sometimes it's not always full. And to some degree, right, you go in there and it's almost, we used to joke around about this, but it's dressed like a chair night, like your parents are the only ones in the stands. Like it's a completely different ball game. And as far as being in the spotlight of the fans, you have to understand, again, what you're playing for. It's not about you. It's about growing the game of Banana Ball. It's about expanding the reach of why baseball is supposed to be fun. And that's the thing that I've fallen in love with. Like, you get back to the core beliefs of why you started playing, and it's to be out there to enjoy yourself. It's to be out there with your teammates. It's really not about you individually. So those were kind of how the questions were prefaced to me as, are you a guy that can be in our clubhouse and impact the team positively, impact the fans positively, impact the show positively? We always talk about plussing the experience. And so you being a guy that can have personality and really help the fans. We talk about breaking down the fourth wall, which is, right, guys are people that can't be in the stadium or just watching on TV. We talk about that a lot. Like, can you be that positive impact, that personality that really brings the flair and just improving the show in general? So that was, I think, the term OKG, our kind of guy, is the part that really stood out to me. And that's, again, that's kind of why I felt like I would be a good fit, is because of, the personality that I bring to the yard.
We're talking about Max Young Goldberg, who's a Savannah Banana. They were just here at Petco Park over the weekend. They will be at Angel Stadium. It's already sold out. I mean, you got to get, it's very difficult to get tickets. You got to be part of a lottery and all that stuff. That's how popular this has become in terms of banana ball. I know on season, I guess they got stats 6 for 22 on the year. I think a lot of people that might watch this, and again, I don't want to make all the comparisons to the Globetrotters. You guys do some fun trick stuff too. How much of those at-bats are real baseball? Are you going up there with an approach, or like, do you know when they're going to do something tricky? How do you guys practice that, and how do you work on your actual baseball side of things aside from all of the choreographed things you have to do?
Well, I know a lot of people probably have that question, like how much of it is rehearsed. We're playing 100% real baseball all the time. The entertainment that you see on the field is to keep it entertaining. Like, that's our style. That's why we called it banana ball. I say we. That's why the
but
organization.
It's not like the WWE is rehearsed. It's not like that. Like, you don't know. Like, you're not going up there going like, all right, we're supposed to lose today, or am I supposed to do this and at bat? You're just out there. The results are the results of you guys playing ball.
100%. There's no, in my mind, when I was looking at banana ball, clearly that's everybody's first question. But again, you can't script a pitcher throwing a ball or a strike. Right. And so when you're up there, it's been so amazing of how your approach really has to change when people are quick pitching you all the time. People are throwing the ball under the legs. Like, I actually took a ball in a scrimmage game that was really competitive from a guy that threw a ball under his legs, similarly how I threw out the first pitch the other day. And again, that's kind of where that's the real baseball side of it. Like, we're being baseball players that can dance. It's not dancing to play baseball. That's kind of how I would put it. The entertainment side is to keep the fans engaged, and honestly, just to keep it fun, and not so much where you would have a script of saying you're going to throw a ball here, or you're going to throw a strike right down the middle so someone can hit a home run in a big spot. It's like yesterday, I could feel the rush. Like 42,000 people were in the last inning against the Loco Beach Coconuts, and you can feel the energy beneath you when fans are getting excited because it's a tie ball game going to the 9th inning.
Let me ask you this too about, because you want to be entertaining and you have all of these other goals that you have to do of making the game fun, right? And all the fun things about baseball. What's the balance of competitiveness versus fun? Like, where, because you want to be able to mix in some tricks and all that other stuff in there. But what's the percentage trade-off? Like, are you always trying to get tricks done, or like how many guys are going up there like, man, I really need a hit right now in this particular sense? I mean, I'm sure there's a balancing act, but what's the percentage of what they tell you in terms of like competition and entertainment?
Yeah, so no, the competitive side of it, I think, is 100%. I would say that the balance is more, you have to know in what opportunities, because people will do walk-ups where that's kind of the entertaining side of it. For example, I did the double Dutch bus dance for a walk-up where we were doing kind of the popular Molly Long dance, and then I basically did one part of it from about where the first base coach's box was to the plate, and that's kind of the entertaining side of it. But when you get into the box, it's back to like, I want to beat the guy on the mound. It's not necessarily we're going out there just to be solely entertainers. So I think the balance is more like, you understand in what scenarios and what spots you're like the camera's on you, and when you're trying again to break the fourth wall and have somebody either on the live stream or somebody in the stadium say, I've never seen that before. And that's kind of where I would say the balance is really understanding when it's time to be entertaining versus, okay, there's a runner on third base with one out, I'm trying to drive this guy in to help my team win.
We're talking with Max Young Goldberg, who is a product of the University of San Diego. He is now a Savannah Banana, who were just here in town. One of the people in our YouTube chat asked, because again, I think just from the standpoint of people driving around trying to understand the Savannah Bananas, the Globetrotters is usually a very comparable thing, which is obviously not exactly what you guys are trying to go for. But one of those questions is, you already know the Globetrotters are going to win because the Generals kind of play into their act. They're more of an act. You guys are actually playing baseball. I don't think there's any unwritten rules on this of like the Bananas don't have to win all the time, right? This is, you guys are competing and there's wins and losses. It's a league. And you guys are 6-1 to start. The Bananas are, but that's not a pre-scripted thing. You guys got to go out there and earn it.
100%. We're out there again. I think the teams that we play against look at us and it feels like it's the World Series every game, which is honestly a huge honor and blessing of being on the Bananas. Is every game is our best game. Like, we have to play our best game because people want to beat us. People want to beat the Bananas, and they want to have the bragging rights as the season goes on, especially when we get to, October, where the championship is around the corner and there's a trophy. We're playing for something, that means something to the organization as a whole of being the Banana Ball Championship League champions. So it's definitely, there's no script to us winning or another team winning. We're out there to compete. We're out there. And that's kind of what drew me, to the league, is that we're not only playing to entertain, but we're playing to win. Everybody has that edge of wanting to have that competitive side. And you see that, like, when people have big moments and get to be on screen and get to, show their personality, people are hyped up. People are excited. They're trying to get the crowd in it for our team to win and to build energy. So again, there's no script for us winning games or other teams winning games.
I'm interested in like the practice side of this too. I mean, you obviously have to practice baseball, but you also have to practice all the other things too. You probably get to have time to kind of create new things. You talked about coaches and stuff too. What's a practice like for a Banana? You guys are touring all over the place. You're going to be in Angel Stadium this weekend, and then you're going to be moving on to other places, and you match up against different teams in different cities. And as the Bananas are playing in San Diego, you got other teams playing in other parts of the country. Is it just before games, like first time you're in first night in the city, kind of like when you were in college? When do you guys practice? What's a practice like? How much of it is getting you better fundamentally at baseball, and how much of it is like, all right, we got to get some of the entertainment stuff practiced too?
Yeah, normal practice day for us kind of looks like it's more so of a blocked out schedule of knowing what phase of the day you're working on your baseball stuff and what part of the day you're working on your entertainment. So most of the time when we show up to a field, we're going to go in the process of going through entertainment first and then into baseball. And so for us, that gives us a little glimpse of what a game would look like, how different scenarios work out, because sometimes it gets to a point where when people are doing a walk-up, like, we have to wait an inning for them to do it, because it works. Sometimes it's a little bit better when people are leading off an inning, because it's the first thing that'll happen.
Right.
It pops a lot better. So understanding that part of it kind of starts at the beginning of the day. And then your baseball side of it is mostly you working on the trick plays. Like, that's my favorite part of the game, that you look at and you see guys doing backflip catches and you wonder, and we talked about this before, but you look at it and you're like, how are those guys so good at a backflip catch? Like, you couldn't just put some random person out there and say, go make a backflip catch. Like, they're probably going to miss it. And that's kind of where you see in our practice schedule, guys are working on that relentlessly, because they know when the show comes around, and on a Saturday night in prime time, when we got 43,000 to 70,000 people watching, when you nail that, not only does it feel good for you, but you know that it's going to be seen by so many people, and to inspire those kids to want to play this style of baseball and make it fun and do things that, again, a lot of people have never seen a backflip catch and probably never will, because you're not going to go to an average MLB game and see some guy. You're not going to see anybody attempt that.
As much as Fernando Tatis Jr. might be able to do that,
right?
If he does it and he misses, that is some serious boos going down, and some people disgruntled, and a lot of people calling our talk show going, what in the world is Fernando doing trying to do that? But for you guys, obviously it's slightly different, but you want to execute it though. Like, you don't want to have a kid show up to see the Bananas for the first time, because especially with this, it's hard to get tickets. It's hard to be see this. You got to be on your A game every single night. We're talking with Max Young Goldberg, who is a Savannah Banana. We're going to take a little bit extra time than we usually do, just because it's just so interesting. But there's only how many teams are there? 6 total.
We have 6 teams.
So you have 5 opponents. You get to see them a lot. Are there ever times? I mean, I know you're still kind of new to this, but are there times you see a team multiple times where you come up there and it's a different trick? You're like, oh wow, that was kind of crazy. Like, how do you maintain character sometimes where they do something really funny that you didn't expect, or like how much of that is part of the game too, of, and I got to be on my competitive edge, because they might do something to throw me off my game, or they might have a different trick I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's, again, I think looking back at why I got into this, that's a huge part of it. You understand that it's bigger than you and it's a part of the show. So you kind of have to be on your toes to compete against guys that have tricks like that. There are guys on the mound spinning around and throwing nasty breaking balls. Like, that's a part of the game. That's a part of what we have to prepare for in order to be, again, like how you said about backflip catches, like we're trying to, on TV, be as prepared as we can to execute so that the kids, the families, the people that watch our show have to come see another. That's one of my favorite parts, and that's the competitive edge that drives all of us, is we want people to see us and think to themselves, how do I have to see another game. So again, there's guys that have so many different tricks up their sleeves, and sometimes when things happen where if some guy throws a ball behind his back for a strike, if it's to strike you out, you just have to remember that it's about the process of people being like, wow, I've never seen that before. I might not ever see it again. So knowing that you have to understand that that's part of the show. So if it doesn't go your way, just remembering like it's okay to laugh. Like, that's a fun part about it. Like, you might not ever see a pitch thrown behind somebody's back and then it actually be a strike. So again, it's understanding that it's about us as a group, us as a whole, and expanding our reach because of things that people have never seen. So again, like knowing that everybody within our organization has their thing and letting them be them, that's the part that I love and I've fallen in love with, just because it makes it so much more intriguing than seeing a guy and him going through a normal windup and throwing a normal fastball. That's kind of what it feels like. Like when I watch games now, I'll see a pop up to the first baseman, and a couple of weeks in Savannah, I did my first pop-up catch where you pop it off your glove and catch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll see a fly ball somewhere, and I'm thinking, dang, this guy's going to pop it up. And then you catch it normally. I'm like, that's not normal for us anymore.
Yeah, right.
So that's the really cool part, is where we're making that difference in the banana ball game being realized as like, it's truly a really difficult sport to play.
Yeah, because there's just a lot of other factors. Now, you do play traditional baseball still. You're on the Swiss national team. Obviously, a lot of those things, with the WBC now officially coming to a close, I'm sure you guys got to get geared up again for the Olympics coming up, as well as the next WBC. How much what's it like playing for an international team where you got to go and do practices and kind of have that soccer element? I know we've talked to you specifically about the Bananas, but it's pretty cool to represent a country. And I know you have citizenship in Switzerland, but what's it like playing for the Swiss national team? What is practice like? What is that experience like as you obviously try to get them to advance to a far spot right now?
Yeah, that's been an incredible honor for my brother and I. My brother Hayden is also a part of the Swiss national team. And for us, when we go overseas, similarly how to when you wear the Bananas jersey, you're representing something way bigger than yourself. With the Swiss national team, you see the Swiss on your jersey and you realize that you're playing for something way bigger. Like that's something that sometimes in pro ball you don't really think about, because you're playing individually for your own career and your own development. So to be out in Europe twice now, you just get that feeling of we're playing for something that if you don't come through in a big situation, your positive energy and your outlook of, okay, it's not just about me. That's something that has been such a big thing in our organization as the Swiss national team, because we're a young, growing baseball community, and trying to become more competitive is the goal of building homegrown talent that wants to be a part of it, that wants to succeed on the big stage, because we're playing against guys that have a lot more experience as a whole than we do. So when we practice together, I think, alluding to your question of that, we're thinking about the future of, okay, we might not be at the level now that we want to, but how do we continue to motivate people within Switzerland to love the game, to fall in love with working hard, to fall in love with what it means.
Kind of like Team Italy just did with a bunch of Americans on the team, but as Pasquantino said the next time we want to have all Italians on this team.
100%.
At least growing the game. So Max, I'm sorry, we got to get to a break. We're long overdue. Thanks again for joining us. You're gonna have a fun time, obviously, on your tour. Next up is Anaheim. There's a lot of great places on the tour. It's most of the games are sold out for the Savannah Bananas. So if you go to the Savannah Bananas website, you can find maybe opportunities or go out to Savannah. You guys still get to play out in Savannah every once in a while as well. So Max Young Goldberg joining us today. We really appreciate it. Glad you had a great time back in the city that you called home for a long period of time. Obviously played at the University of San Diego. Some very interesting stuff. We'll catch up later.
Thank you guys for having me. It means a lot.
Max Young Goldberg, a member of the Savannah Bananas. When we come back, we'll talk about San Diego FC. We'll get you an update of what's going on in the Padre game. Braden Surprenant Show, final hour, San Diego's number sports station 97 through the Fan. There's a look at some of them. We're going to have Frank kind of walk around as I kind of go through what some of these promotional items are. But the Padres today announced their 2026 promotional schedule, including giveaways, theme games, and events. Every homestand, you can get single game tickets for the 2026 regular season home games on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. So you got to still wait until next Tuesday at 10 in the morning Pacific time by visiting www.padres.com. Season ticket members have priority access to tickets and enjoy the best available seats. Season ticket memberships have sold out for the fourth consecutive season due to franchise record demand, and therefore all remaining tickets for the 2026 season are available on a single game basis. So these will be, you could buy tickets starting on February 3rd. There are 15 all-fan giveaways planned for the 2026, highlighted by fan favorites such as high-quality wearable, stylish hats, and bobbleheads, all of which take place during select home games throughout the season, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. There are 3 different styles of hats this year, and there's a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get to that, but we'll just kind of go through the beginning of the season to the end. And see if you can follow along here, Frank, with what we got. But the first giveaway will be on Friday, March 27th. That's the day after opening day. That's the Tony Gwynn opening day. There's going to be an opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Start the season in style with a Cozy Padres opening series scarf, which looks nice. It's great. Nice little scarf. At the beginning games, the early games at Petco Park are usually kind of chilly. But that's a good-looking scarf right there. So that will be against the Tigers on Friday, March 27th. On Monday, March 30th, this one's super cool. On Monday, March 30th, they have the night. I'm a sucker for 1998 stuff. They have a 1998 belt bag, which is perfect for it's a bag that you could bring into the ballpark, which is awesome. I know my mom's got a bag like that. My girlfriend's got a bag like that. There's a lot of different. My sister's got a bag like that, and a lot of people use them to get in the stadiums, but now you can have a Padres one, which is great. So 1998 colors too. So they've seen they've debuted the original one that they had. They've had a City Connect one, and now they got a Padres 1998 belt bag. So that will be pretty cool for everybody out there. That's Monday, March 30th. On to Thursday, April 9th against the Rockies will be the Manny's Hot Corner bobblehead. So it's Manny Machado playing third base. They got the flames around the side. It's presented by McDonald's. First 40,000 in attendance. Display-worthy collectible features Machado at third base and is a keepsake for all the faithful. That's a nice little. I like the little bottom there. That's pretty cool. What is that? Is that the armband? Pink armband? Yeah, it looks nice. Again, if you want to go back, you can rewatch this on YouTube and take a look at everything in the on the deal here. Let's move on to the next one. Wednesday, April 15th versus Seattle Mariners. The puffer vest presented by State Farm. That's that vest right there on the table. That's pretty nice. The best part about this is, like, when I was a kid, like, some of the giveaways were kind of lame, but now they have made them so legit. I mean, that's a nice little vest right there. It's presented by State Farm. That will be, again, on April 15th against the Seattle Mariners, a Wednesday game at 6:40. Not a Wednesday day game. It's a Wednesday night game. First 40,000 fans get that. Against the Cubs, there's a waffle beanie presented by Motorola Razr. Waffle beanies on April 28th against the Cubs. Top off your fit with a soft waffle beanie made for night games at a ballpark photo op. This item is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance as well. So that's pretty cool. I like the bobblehead. The one they had last year was cool too, but the beanie, the one they had last year was cool too. First bobblehead for Mason Miller. Thursday, May 7th, at least in a Padres uniform, they got the Mason Miller bobblehead. Watch your speed. Elite pitching with a bobblehead that nods to Miller's clutch moments on the mound. He's got fire coming off of the baseball on his delivery, which is super cool. You can bring that a little bit closer to the camera if you want. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Mason Miller bobblehead giveaway Thursday, May 7th. And big thanks to Max Young Goldberg joining us from the Savannah Bananas. I mean, this is a guy that, Frank, he basically blew off the Bananas for 2 years because they didn't see the DM, and they still took him. But pretty interesting. I could have talked to him for the entire hour. It was so fascinating to hear what it's like to be a Savannah Banana. And I honestly think, I think a lot of people scoff at the Bananas just because it's not real baseball. It really is. I mean, they are playing baseball. They do some trick stuff. It's a random league, right? I mean, it's for entertainment. That's what it's for. But you can't sit there and say it's fake and they don't play. They play baseball. They got really good players that played at the D1 level that have played as high as AAA. So I mean, there were a lot of interesting insights to that. And then you got to throw in, I mean, so he's doing all of these banana ball games, and then he's got to get ready for the Swiss national team when they gear up again, right? And then you got to try to qualify for the Olympics, qualify for the WBC. A lot of that happens years out from the actual tournaments, but just some very interesting stuff. I mean, we could ask them thousands of questions today.
Yeah, one of the things I really would have liked to have asked, I was going to pipe up, but again, you guys were rolling so well, I didn't want to mess you guys up. But the getting veteran players, like they had Dave Winfield there over the weekend. What is it like getting veteran players not just to join, but also to buy into the gimmick? That has to be really, really fun for them to get another chance, even if it is for just an at bat. Get another chance to get out there and feel that again.
I think they had Jake Peavy and Shane Victorino too this weekend, which is super cool.
They've had Heath Bell in the past as well.
It's great.
It's awesome. It really is.
I think all that's cool. I mean, the other thing too, Augie in the YouTube chat said it. It's you don't just hit home runs at a big league park if you can't play.
Yeah.
So it's probably cool. It's probably cool for them. I mean, this is a way for them to continue their baseball careers, to make money playing. I don't know how much money they make, but to continue to play baseball, you get to be entertaining. You get to be fun. You get to be competitive, and you get to play in sold out MLB stadiums. And not only that, I mean, they're playing in college football stadiums, and NFL stadiums that are, excuse me, still way bigger than MLB stadiums. They're playing in bigger environments than what every MLB guy does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty interesting thing. Again, they'll be in Anaheim this weekend. You can't get tickets now. I mean, it's too hard to get tickets to those. You got to go to a lottery anyway.
Yeah, you need to put your name into a lottery. If you don't get picked out of the initial lottery, there's basically, they pick for a standby lottery also. And then if somebody doesn't claim or buy tickets, then it goes to you and so on and so forth down the line.
I mean, the team schedules are pretty interesting too. They go from February to October, and then in October they do, or February through September, and in October they do I don't know what the BBCL championships or whatever like that. So, I mean, if you look at like where they're going, it just depends. And that's the other thing too. Like Maximo Goldberg got drafted by the Bananas. He could have been drafted by any of the teams. Mm-hmm. The Bananas got to come to San Diego. Not every city gets the Bananas specifically. They get other teams too, because there are 6 teams on this Banana Ball World Tour. And the Bananas just happened to be here in San Diego against whoever the heck they played over this weekend. But they're going to a lot of different, like the Bananas specifically. They're going to Anaheim. They're going to go to Chapel Hill. They're going to play a decent amount of games in Savannah too. They'll play at Yankee Stadium. They'll play at, Kyle Field is massive. That is a massive football stadium they're going to play in. That they're going to play in Knoxville, Tennessee. So here, I'm just like looking through their schedule. They play in Knoxville. They're going to play at Covenant Health Park, which is where the Tennessee Smokies play. And then they're going to play at Neyland Stadium the next day. Neyland Stadium holds over 100,000 people. So it's pretty cool. They're going to play in MLB stadiums and all these other ones. They do a lot of fun stuff. Kids love them. It's kind of a cool deal. When we come back, we'll talk about what is going on in the Padres' last spring training game. We will also kind of recap what happened in the SDFC game as well. But we do have to give away tickets to Padres Tigers on Friday. Tickets to see the Padres and the Tigers on Friday. It's Tony Gwynn opening day, if you will, March 27th. And if you want to get Padres tickets, grab tickets at padres.com/tickets. But in order to win the tickets, be the first one to call in and give us a Savannah Banana opponent. There's 6 teams in this league. You got to tell me a team that's not the Bananas. First one to call in and do that, you will win 2 tickets to the Padres game coming up on Friday against the Tigers. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you can successfully call in and tell me who the Bananas play, just one of the teams that they potentially play, you will win tickets to Friday, March 27th, Padres and Tigers, which is also a giveaway. It's also the scarf giveaway. You can get your tickets at padres.com/tickets. We will announce the winner when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station, 97 to the Fan. If you missed anything that we have said already, if you're driving around, we're talking about the promotional giveaways for the Padres here in 2026. If you want to check out the website, where you could get this is padres.com/giveaways, and it'll have the whole list. And again, if you want to buy tickets to these games, you could start going. The single game tickets are on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd at 10 in the morning. That's the first chance that you have. Obviously, season ticket memberships have priority to do that. As we move along, we got the patriotic Aloha shirt for the day after Memorial Day. I think May 26th. So it's a Tuesday. Maybe it's coming before, but celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with the Padres themed patriotic Aloha shirt. Pretty nice. Got the Blue Angels on there. It's got the Padres logo. It's got the Padres military logo on a baseball. Nice little Hawaiian shirt, patriotic, against the Phillies on May 26th. Coming up on Tuesday, June 9th against the Reds. Bogey goes boom bobblehead. You got a Xander Bogaerts finishing his home run swing with his signature gray and maroon bat. So that's pretty cool bobblehead as well. It's presented by Palomar Specialty Insurance on June 9th. So Bogaerts has a bobblehead on Tuesday, June 9th. Coming up on Monday, June 22nd against the Atlanta Braves. Got the Western snapback hat. Kind of looks like a rodeo hat. It's pretty cool looking. It's got San Diego Padres in the Western font, if you will, or San Diego Padres written in Western font with the SD logo in the middle. Pretty cool looking hat right there. That's presented by Petco. First 40,000 fans in attendance will have that one. Again, all of these are for the first 40,000 fans for these, unless I say otherwise. Wednesday, July 8th, Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. He's repping the navy blue 1998 gear. Honor the Hall of Famer and Padres legendary closer with the Trevor Hoffman bobblehead, presented by Canels. This bobblehead limited the first 40,000 fans, so it's in stride. Trevor Hoffman, kind of a classic look at bobblehead against the Diamondbacks in July. On July 12th, just for the kids, they have the Squeeze Top water bottle, which is a kids giveaway. I don't know if they have that here today because it's a kids giveaway. Again, some of these are for the first 40,000 fans. Some of them are for the first 10,000 fans. It's a kind of little water bottle for kids 14 and under. It looks like an ice cream sundae, which is pretty cool. Tuesday, July 28th. I know a lot of you guys love this one. It's presented by Soapy Joe's, the poncho. Got the San Diego Padres poncho. Looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm sure you'll see a lot of you guys repping that out there at Padre games. That's on July 28th. Bucket hats. Everybody loves the bucket hat. You got a reversible bucket hat, which you have multiple looks for. You have the Padres white home uniform version. You also have the sand away version as well with the swinging fryer on it. Multiple looks. Home and away bucket hat will be Thursday, July 30th against the Giants. A 6:40 start, first 40,000 fans. Coming up on August 10th, a superhero pocket tee presented by San Diego Community Power, which is pretty cool. Usually right after the Comic-Con road trip that the Padres have to go on. So a little bit of a superhero t-shirt. Pretty good front and back. It's got that front pocket. Small logo in the front, big logo in the back. It's good style for a t-shirt, let me tell you. Coming up on Sunday, August 23rd, it's another kids giveaway. You can check that on the website. Monday, August 24th, the next day against the Pirates, you got the Jackson Merrill robbery bobblehead. So it's Jackson Merrill robbing a home run with the blue fence right there in his home uniform. It's a pretty cool looking bobblehead. And then this is the best one. You thought you were going to give away. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to find out about the City Connect uniforms. Well, we have the bobblehead for the City Connect uniforms. It just hasn't been painted yet. They're not going to display that until the new City Connect uniforms are out. But they have the Fernando Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf. That will be on Tuesday, September 8th against the Washington Nationals. Dressed in the Padres City Connect 2.0, the Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf channels Nando's flair at the plate, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. Dynamic details of this bobblehead will make it a centerpiece for your collectibles. Again, we don't know what the City Connect uniforms are yet, but that is what that will look like. All right, who won the tickets?
Scott and El Cajon won the tickets, I believe it was.
Congratulations, Scott and El Cajon, for calling in first. We had a lot of people calling in.
Yeah, we did.
That's why you were waiting on hold. Usually, if that's the case, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, if you're waiting on hold this deep into a break, you ain't getting the tickets. I'm sorry.
Try it again next time. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. A huge thanks again to Max Young Goldberg and the Savannah Bananas for coming on the show today. Sounds like it was a fun time at Petco Park for everybody that went out there and watched. I mean, they had 42,000 people both nights. Probably a nice little dress rehearsal for the people of Petco Park as we get ready for opening day on Thursday. We cannot wait. How about this for a final line for your final game in spring training?
Okay.
4 2/3, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts.
I think Armand Marquez is he's not messing around.
It's pretty solid. I mean, pretty solid work today for German Marquez. Now, I don't know what his velo was at. I'd have to check real quick on some of these outings. I mean, he had a strikeout, a couple of strikeouts in the 5th inning where he was hitting 95, 96 on his fastball, which is good to see. He gave up the home run to, what's it called? He gave up the home run to Randy Arozarena, and gave up some solid contact on a couple of players. But I mean, even like if you look at the 5th inning for German Marquez, which is his last inning, he gave up the leadoff single to Cal Raleigh, gave up a single to Luke Raley, and then he struck out the next 2 batters and then got Dominic Canzone to line out. Now, some of those players are not MLB guys, but he really bared down with a couple of guys on base and nobody out, which is great to see.
Now, this just popped into my head, as small as it is, but could this have been a trial run? Because we've been talking about it, whether or not the 6-man rotation, and then it was a 5-man, and now it's a 4-man with an opener. Could this have been a trial run for a 4-man rotation with an opener today?
Because they had Kyle Hart go first. I mean,
it stands to reason. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying interesting timing.
I understand where you're coming with this, and this is my take on this. Kyle Hart would be on the if Kyle Hart makes this team, he's on the team to eat innings, not like do a one-off, right? And pitch 1 inning and then German Marquez. Like, to me, the only reason why Kyle Hart would be on this team to be the safety net of the question marks in the rotation where he can come in and save the bullpen, because the bullpen already being the best asset for the Padres is, something that if the rotation does not actually play out like the Padres want it to play out, the bullpen's going to get taxed in the beginning part of the season. Like, the biggest fear, I think, from a lot of people and a lot of fans of the Padres, regardless if you do a 4-man, 5-man, 6-man rotation, right, is everybody goes back to you don't want to tax the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have seen in the past with Padre teams that have had really good bullpens and a lot worse starting rotations than what you currently have. And I look back to the 2019 Padres? Maybe it was the 2018, but I think it was the 2019 Padres. Bullpen was good, probably the best asset of the team, and the starting rotation was Chris Paddock and Nick Margevicius and Matt Strom and Eric Lauer, and I mean that was your rotation, and they weren't getting into ball games at all. Like, Nick Margevicius was your 3rd pitcher in your rotation.
Bless you.
Exactly. I remember we all had to learn how to say his name properly eventually during spring training, because they were like, oh, he's going to make the team. He is actually going to make the team. With that rotation, I remember the beginning part of that year, and they were winning games and they were in games, and you're like, hey, look, maybe they're off to a better start than we think, because They took 3 out of 4 from the Giants, and then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks, but then they go to St. Louis and win 2 out of 3, a place that they never have success, and they won 2 out of 3 against San Francisco on the road. Then they went 3 out of 4 against Arizona, and they started the season 11-5, and if it wasn't for like kind of a last-minute comeback out of the Diamondbacks on that Sunday, April 14th, they would have started the season 12-5. And they started the season 11-6. You're like, hey, look, they're getting it done. They got Matt Strom and Eric Lauer and Joey Lucchesi, and they're able to do this. And then you're looking and like, well, the bullpen's been used a lot. Like, Kirby Yates at that point already had, how about this? Through 16 games, Kirby Yates had 9 saves already in 16 games. Out of the 11 wins in the 16 games that the Padres had in that year, Kirby Yates had 9 saves in the 11 wins.
Saves leader, buddy.
and you wonder why. Yeah, you wonder why he made the All-Star game that year. It's like, oh, he has the most saves. Well, you know what? The Padres aren't blowing anybody out. So they were winning all of these close games, and you're like, this is great. But the problem was your entire bullpen was really saving your ass, including guys like, I'm pretty sure Craig Stammen was still out there pitching for the Padres. A guy that is now managing this team understands what it's like to be like, all right, well, I'm out there every single day. Yeah, we're winning games, but my arm's going to fall off in 2 months. And so when we talk about this situation with Kyle Hart, and this is where I'm really roping it in, and like the opener kind of, you need Kyle Hart to save the day if starting pitchers can't go deep into games. And he's going to have to be the guy that wears it. And maybe you lose, but you know what? He's got to protect the bullpen. That's what his role would be if he makes this team. So to answer your question, I think it's an interesting topic of conversation.
I think it's just, I agree with you 100%. I believe a 5-man rotation is what it's going to be. I find it interesting that it's German Marquez, the last day of spring training after a week or so of this conversation. It's if it were Pavetta or if it were King that were going today that had an opener before him, I wouldn't think anything about it. But the fact that it is the guy who's expected to be the number 5 in the rotation, after this was brought up by the Padres as an option, that's what got me thinking about it, is could this be a trial run for that?
When there's smoke, there's fire. And the reality is, it's like, if he's going to be, if German Marquez is going, here's why, like, today's move, if you're just going to have German Marquez be the number 5 starter, here's why today's move doesn't make that much sense, because it's the last day of spring training.
Yeah.
And when is everybody going to like actually play for the Mariners? First time through, maybe second time most. So unless it was, we have to have Kyle Hart face major league hitters to make this team, which also could be a factor of why Kyle Hart started and not German Marquez. The interesting thing would be, well, why didn't you just have Marquez practice a start and like get used to just being a starter? But I will say I'm now starting to lean towards, I don't think Kyle Hart's going to be an opener.
I don't think he should either.
No, but I think this shows you that, here's how I view this decision by the Padres today. I think it shows you that German Marquez was going to be on the team regardless.
Yes.
Kyle Hart was still battling for a team spot. We got to see how Kyle Hart does against the major league lineup instead of everybody that's getting in after guys are leaving to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
That's, to me, where this is at. I do think, I like where your head's at, though. I think you can, because with all of the articles that we have seen and the ideas, we went from a 6-man to a 5-man to a 4-man rotation in terms of ideas of what the Padres are going to do with their pitching staff. So it's not crazy to think about it from that perspective. I think it's interesting to see how that played out today. But I think at the end of the day, it was, we need to see Kyle Hart go against a Major League Baseball team and not the Tacoma Rainiers. Because you're already going to know how he's going to do against Tacoma. If he doesn't make the team, he's going to be down in AAA facing Tacoma anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And here's the other thing, too. If Kyle Hart doesn't make this team, he gets sent to what? Minor league camp, because the minor leagues haven't started yet. And the Padres all week long are playing the Mariners in minor league camp.
Yep.
So if that's the case, you already know how Kyle Hart's going to do against these guys if he does it later on in the week anyway. You might as well have him go against the major league guys. So I think that's probably more of a sense of, that was the final showing for Kyle Hart to make this team. And they were probably down to Kyle Hart or somebody else in the bullpen. Maybe it's Ron Marinaccio. Who knows? Could it be a spot to add him to the team with somebody being hurt? And this is the final tester. And what Kyle Hart did today, he threw an inning, gave up, he got tagged around a little bit. 1 inning, 1 earned run, 2 hits, a strikeout. Was that enough? Who knows? That'll be more conversation for us tomorrow. Maybe for Gwen and Chris coming up after us. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan.